Spencer's fist erupts from your monitor. Just...
Not my heart.
Kalima. So I'm
What is
trying
that
to
a reference to?
Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones.
Mhm.
You uncultured swine.
Even I knew
Temple of
that.
Doom. Temple of Doom, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of clothing disintegrating when it gets wet, I have watched.
We are on stream now.
Oh, okay.
You need to warn us.
Hi, everybody.
I did warn you. But go ahead, Barnabas. Say what you're going to say. I didn't mark it family friendly.
I am just fascinated that hoodie you're wearing has that amount of durability. I have seen you wear that hoodie
It's-
3 times a week for like going on 5 years now. And
Wow.
I'm just expecting it to like just poof into dust at some point. It just keeps going.
Yeah, I have worn this about 7 days a week for the last 5+ years.
Jeez.
It is very see-through.
Okay.
It was given to us see-through, is the thing. The material was already like loose leaf paper.
Wait, which
with
one
2
is this?
strings and a hoodie.
It's my Anytime Fitness one.
Did you buy it with the $50 they gave you?
Yeah, I bought
Oh.
this, a t-shirt, and a tank top.
Oh, I never used that. Damn it.
I promptly
neither.
got rid of the t-shirt
You
and the tank
never
top.
used it?
There's nothing
Oh my
there.
gosh. I bought so much workout clothes. I bought so many t-shirts and t-shirts, hoodies. That's all I ever bought. T-shirts and hoodies.
I bought so
bought so
many
many.
t-shirts.
I should have walked in and be like, I'll take all your pens.
Oh,
I would wait till the t-shirts would go on sale for $5, and I have like a billion of them now. That's all my workout clothes, and then I have several really comfortable hoodies, or as Joe calls them, jumpers.
That's how he said.
I don't even call them that. So.
I got a text that said, "Hey, Nate, nice AF jumper." Although that's not Australian, that's more British.
Well, a little North England there.
Yeah. And it took me a minute, and I was like, "Oh, you mean my hoodie?" Anyways, hi, if you're on, Joe.
He's not.
That would be
All right. So, what happened last time?
Oh yeah, the good old recap.
Felix revealed his project.
Oh
towards
yeah,
the beginning. That was awesome. His suit of armor.
his power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Khalid is happy with Felix.
Yes. Very cool.
Tizol talks to Lex Crowley, Crowley, whatever,
Lex
at the
Crowley.
docks. The docks aren't quite as busy as the main hub, but still bustling. Crowley was working in a ledger the whole time. Tizol was asking about incoming and outgoing ships, especially from Pollux, because he wants to know about his friend. Tizol asked about the lottery winners, and Crowley kind of guessed that it was probably a lie to get rid of prisoners, which sounds right.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. The person that Tizol is looking for has probably already paid their debt and may not be in the city still. They probably took adventuring work because of fast labor instead of long work. We went back to the Wolf and Hound. Molly has meals for the group. Felix's room has a suit of armor propped up and standing on its own, powered by blue alchemite in the waist. This mech is made of bone. Not entirely bone, right? Oh, yes, entirely bone.
It's like a special thing he made. That's like
Oh.
bone and metal.
Okay. An alloy of sorts?
Yep.
He's been working on it for years. However, others may want it, and Felix wants to prove what he can do. So he's on a mission. I guess I can keep going since people are eating. Revan has a blue pseudo dragon. It's adorable, apparently. I have its adorable smiley face. Ooh, I guess the picture was cute. Anyway,
It was a very cute picture. Yeah.
it was a very cute picture.
It was supposed to be.
The Dreadnought crew may have more knowledge of firearms. I don't know why I wrote that down.
I don't have that.
Felix.
Yeah.
Were you talking about the cannon and
Yep.
the Dreadnought lightning cannon thing? Yeah.
Felix wants to make a handheld cannon.
You should put it on his,
Oh,
on
and
his
he's
back.
interested in talking
So
to
when he-
Revan, you had mentioned.
Yeah. Can you imagine if it was on his back and if he leant forward like a tripod leg came out?
That'd be awesome. That's like a He-Man kind of thing. There's something from He-Man that was like that.
Wait, Felix also asked the Dreadnought crew if they keep any Kraken corpses, and I wrote
yeah.
here Felix might be the big bad.
Oh yeah, Felix wants people to think he's dead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. He told Captain Riker to tell people he's dead.
We went to inform the Magister of our decision. Captain Verneth was waiting for us at the South Gate. Someone has agreed to become the smithy in Orin. Felix is pleased. Apparently it's a she. I think it's the lady that arrived with Tizol. I remember correctly.
Yep.
Joan, that's what it is.
Yep.
Near the center
Oh.
of the city.
Oh, it was Joan?
Yes,
Yeah.
you were told that it was
That's
Joe.
what I have written down as well.
The area to the southeast of the city is much less populated as you approach the gate. Massive doors at the wall. The captain has a shield for council. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. And a +1 old rusty crossbow that breaks on a 1 or a 20. So that's fun. The two guards push a button and the door swings open. It's very fascinating. The main temple of the due to questions that arose during the journey, the main temple has a Dwarn effigy, or kind of statues, I believe, and the coastal one that we were passing as we went southeast has elm statues and likeness. That's very interesting. We talked about the potential of the city being a part of a great circle with multiple districts. Kind of beardy, strokey there. Take the worn road to the wall. 2 buildings near the coast. We didn't search the buildings as soon as just started working on the wall. Silly ass. And
But they were
Captain told-
essentially ruins, weren't they?
right, but we still went to a danger zone and didn't clear it before we started working.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out, but it could have been terrible.
No, yeah. We don't have our military tactics mastered yet.
The captain pulled red alchemite from a crate, hucks it, and creates a huge explosion, which makes lots of debris for us to build a wall.
Yep.
Council used his special ability to build 5x5 section of the wall, and then the non attacked. And that's when my notes stop.
And we beat him.
How do we know there weren't non when we blew up?
What was that? You
How do we know there weren't non in the building we blew up? Maybe they were just defending their friends.
I don't think we blew up a building.
No, we blew up a patch of
It was the
ground.
wall up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't
Oh,
it like
part
at
of
the
the wall.
edge of the wall?
Yeah.
No, it was just a
No.
patch of ground.
I thought we were just
Ground.
blowing up houses.
Oh my God.
Just like chuck it in the window, grab the rubble and put it on the wall.
That school bus looks empty.
Female non. Like,
I mean, apparently that's what we should have done.
no. Fish Jimmy, no.
Use the non as a good like mortar for the wall. Nice paste.
I did put like a crate of the red alchemite right next to the building, just in case you guys wanted to get creative.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah, neither did I.
It would have been real messy. But
Oh, man. Oh, that would have been fun.
Destruction is not in council's nature.
Oh,
Yeah, I totally just didn't think of it.
that's fine. Okay. Anything else? That's pretty much where you got to, right?
yeah. Finished
Yeah,
up
we
the
finished-
fight.
We finished the fight. Captain said, "Yeah, you guys will do," and then we stopped.
One non-retreated? Or 2? Just one?
One. Just
One,
one
yeah.
escaped. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one from the wall, right? Jumped down.
Yeah.
One of the ones,
Yep.
one of the female non from the wall escaped and was able to swim back down into the ocean.
So that likely also means they are going to share that with the rest of their kinfolk. What they just went through.
It's fine. Once they get a Van Helsing crossbow, we'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be totally fine.
Oh,
Okay.
that won't rile the troops or anything.
I'm going to share my screen. That one.
Oh, I need to make a new file.
To
Notes.
see, you can see the map here.
Session
Because
5.
we're going to pick up right where you guys left off at the site. I'm going to try and play music. If it kills my computer, I'll be very upset.
I hear music.
I hear music as well.
All right.
Did you share the title of the session yet? Did I miss that?
Oh, I did not. This is session number 5, and the name of it is Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. Got it.
Plural, Bloodlines.
With a Q.
Silent Q. J7.
Silent.
Bloodlines quoi?
No, silent Q, Alex.
Oh, sorry.
Do you even read, bro?
Captain Verneth. He's leaning up against the well, having just gone through all of this with all of you, bleeding quite a bit from his back and chest, where he was previously skewered by a harpoon that now Captain Revan has claimed as his own. And he reaches down into the pouch that the bag that he had brought with him, and he pulls out a little green piece of alchemite, and he pushes it against his wounds, and you watch as his wounds kind of start to stitch back together. And he is essentially, over the course of a couple seconds, healed of his wounds. At which point the alchemite turns into this like dull gray, like gunmetal gray kind of like material. And he just kind of like tosses it off to the side. And he lets out a big sigh. That's better. Can't believe that. Wow. Definitely saw my life flash before my eyes there. I'm glad all of you are here with us.
Council approaches Captain. Are you well, Captain?
Right as rain now. Now that I've had a chance to take care of the old wounds, I'll be ready to go.
Is that, he kind of gestures to the dull alchemite, is that common?
It's common here, at least, for healing purposes. We found that, I told you last time a little bit about the different colors of alchemite that we've been able to experiment with. I haven't personally been able to, but others have been able to experiment with. We found that green has some sort of life energy to it. It helps to heal. And so if we're in a pinch, can pop one of those.
Fascinating.
And go ahead.
No.
Does that have anything to do with the stone in your chest? He points to his own chest.
Oh, I don't have a stone in my chest.
Oh.
This will work on anybody.
Aye. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. It's real good in a pinch. I've only had to do it once before. Again, down here defending on the wall, but after seeing what it did the first time, it's coming right handy.
I have...
Are there any side effects with it? Anything you've noticed when you used it the other time?
Thanks for a second, strokes his mustache. This is not that I've noticed. No.
That's good.
I have many questions about this alchemite. Do you know who may be able to provide insight into such?
What do you want to know? Probably. Let's back up. Honestly, probably the ones who know the most are the Dwarn. So if one of those comes to town, could probably ask one. I'm a little surprised here that maybe Felix doesn't know more.
How much does Felix know about all the different kinds?
He knows a decent amount about most of the kinds.
Well, I could give you a rough idea of what all the different colors are for.
I would greatly appreciate that. But before we begin, perhaps we should clear the area of threats.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to sit right here and maybe catch my breath while you'll do that.
Understandable.
Felix,
I'm gonna go clear
Felix
the buildings.
walks over to the spent alchemite, picks it up, and kind of looks at it closely, and then puts it in his bag.
Yeah, you, Felix, you've definitely seen this before with your experimentations with alchemite. You're familiar with this state of it. Basically, once it's used, it is entirely unusable again.
That we know of.
I'm gonna go to the buildings with my crossbow ready.
Okay.
And just make sure there's no like eggs or tunnels into the ocean or things like that.
Okay, sure.
Tizal would also help clear the area, but he would walk past the crate of red alchemite and try to snag one.
Okay. You're trying to do it stealthily?
Yes.
All right, make me a sleight of hand check. And Council, why don't you make me a perception check?
16.
I'm basically just trying to SWAT clear these buildings.
16. Yeah, you're just trying to take one of them?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah, actually, let me...
I got a 12.
Common
Just
space.
pretend you
I'll
can throw it.
Council in the SWAT clearing.
Yeah, you're able to pocket one. So now you can put that you have a chunk of red alchemite. And Wander, you said that you're helping Council in clearing buildings?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't trip.
Right. Give him a good elbow nudge. But good job, Tizal. Tink tink.
It's under my feathers.
I'm just
Oh.
wait for him to go unconscious while he's flying.
Just a crater. That's all that's left.
Do you know, like, with the paperclip trick, you can like bend it a certain way and then drop it to make it pop back up even higher?
Yeah, grasshopper.
That's what I'm picturing with Tizal.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to do the south building first since it's closer to the water.
Okay. Sure. So what did you roll?
I rolled a 12.
12.
Yeah.
So this is the building previously that the two non were in, the male non. They're really the only things that are in the building. Other than that, it's entirely empty.
There's pretty much nothing, like no camp they were here the night before.
There's nothing else besides them,
Wow.
their bodies.
Okay, Council's going to assume they saw us coming and just kind of waited. All right, go to the next building.
Sure. Then I can save you time on a perception check because the second building is the same.
Wow.
There's
Okay.
nothing in there, no camp left behind, nothing like that.
I put my crossbow away and go back to the captain.
Can I search the bodies by chance? Like, in part of helping clear the area, would I be able to like search to see if they left anything behind?
Just like searching on their bodies. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Perception?
Yeah.
You
Well,
find
actually,
the tuna.
looking for stuff on their body would be more like investigation. No, it'd be perception still. Perception. 6. I mean, the bigger one downstairs still has his javelin, but other than that, no, nothing.
I load the javelin into my crossbow. Range of 5 feet, but
You try to fire it, it just breaks your crossbow.
no. Council walks up to the captain.
Okay. He's
8.
still resting on the ground up against the well.
It appears that the Non were lying in wait. There are no signs of camps or alternate entries from the ocean.
Yeah. From what we've seen of them, they tend to stay just a couple 100 feet offshore, not too far. And then when there's an opportune moment, they'll quick come ashore and wait. Try to
Understand.
surprise us.
Very well. If that is expected behavior, then I have nothing else to report.
Do,
Oh, go ahead.
do you need this well uncovered here?
He looks over the well. No. At least not for now.
I would cover the well and remove that attack vector.
All right. Do you got an idea of how to cover it?
I am not an architect. No, something
Council-
heavy and flat.
Council
You know the
Zealot
word
looks at the pile
vector.
of rocks.
Would you like to use the well in the future?
Well, the plan is to someday expand the city. Once we get out here, I imagine that, we'll probably need some well for a freshwater source.
So then dropping some red alchemite down there is out of the question.
I think that'd probably be preferred, yeah.
Council.
It'd be fun to
rubs
watch,
the
though.
forehead.
That it would. But I'd say probably no on that one. I'm not the city planner, but I'm going to imagine that the answer would be no.
So, Captain, the Non seem to make short work of the wall. It didn't appear to be much of an obstacle to them. Why continue rebuilding it?
It's more a deterrent than anything else, I think. Certainly over in the other side of the city, up in the more populated part of Orin, it's a little more a deterrent than here, especially given the fact that there's a lot of people that live up there. Well, not a lot of people, but there's people that live up there. So if you're an opposing force and you know that there's baddies on the other side of this wall, so you have to get past the wall and past the baddies to do any harm, that wall's a considerable barrier. Out here, where there's literally nothing on the other side of that wall besides all of this, and he motions out to this big barren field. He says, it's really not much of anything.
Aye.
It's just an added layer of protection. So right now, we're just making it kind of inconvenient for them to get into the city. And then once we actually have people out here, it'll be a more formidable deterrent.
Do you have defenses to make sure that they cannot get past the doors we walked through to get here?
What? Good question. We have one, the distance. That's a couple of miles out from the ocean. Most of them would dry out by the time they got there. They'd just die, I imagine. And on top of that, they can only be open from the one side. And 3, we've got guards that are standing on the other side.
You mentioned they would dry out.
Yeah.
Could you say more on this?
The Non, they live in the water. They like to be in the water. Do you know what a fish is?
Yeah.
Delicious.
Good to hear that Wanda's wife knows what a fish is.
Wanda, you got married and did not tell me.
The most beautiful ficus.
Are you doing okay? Are you still stuck in the middle of nowhere?
I am stuck.
Good.
She.
This conversation is so, or this one-way conversation is so good.
Good.
Is it picking up her voice?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, crystal clear.
Clearly.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Her responses were perfectly timed,
Yeah.
though.
They were fantastic.
You know what a fish is, yeah?
Yes. Dinner.
Revan chuckles.
Fish can't live long out of water. They tend to real fish like to breathe under the water. They can't breathe air. You take them out of the air and they die. None are very similar in that you take them out of the water for too long and they also die. Because of at least these ones, and he kind of painfully stands up on the well and points over at one of the larger bodies. That's the one that Council had previously killed. That's just slung over the battlement thing that he was standing underneath.
Mm-hmm.
He says, if you look at it, it's got more of a tail, so it doesn't move too quick on the ground. Instead, it just kind of slithers slowly. So if the only way to get into the city is literally traversing miles of desert, it's going to dry out.
How long does it take for them to dry out? Do you know?
Not sure. Haven't seen one dry out. And even though they try to kill us anytime they've seen us, seems a little inhumane to take one out of the water just to watch it die, engage it.
Does it rain often here?
No.
That's good then.
I've seen it rain maybe twice in all my years here. Yeah.
Hmm.
Does that seem unusual for what Revan would know of this part of the world?
Make me a nature check.
For the tropics, I guess? I don't know. Council's going to go back to building the wall while this thing.
7.
You're probably not too sure. Out on the islands, it rains with a decent amount of frequency. Not every day or anything, but it rains.
Okay.
If anybody else wanted to give a nature check, they certainly could.
Yeah, after that question coming up, Council's going to put a hand in the soil dirt as far as he can, just to see if there's anything unusual, if they're being dried out so close to the ocean, because that's what beaches are. But if there's anything that he would think caused this place to be, I don't know how to word this. If something magical happened and this place is unnaturally dry or not
okay.
Something exploded or a cataclysm of some sort, and this place is specifically not working correctly.
You could either make me an Arcana check or a Nature check.
I kind of want to do Arcana if that's okay.
Yeah,
I rolled for nature, Spence.
And what'd you roll?
A natural 20, 21.
Holy cow!
Okay.
I got a 14.
Okay. Between the two of you, kind of looking at things from your own perspectives, you don't think that anything unnatural happened here. And Tizal kind of confirms that, looking at where this is. Here, and actually, I'm going to pull up. Do you guys see this map?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I made a new, better map of the continent. So you're right here. If you see that little orange semicircle, that's
Oh wow, yeah. So kind of in a wind trap created by mountains.
So if you go from the Z in Zun-ich-Bier,
Oh, yep, directly left of it. I see it. Yep.
you'll see that's where Orin is. You're just you're in that circle. You are slightly north of the equator right now, so this is a very dry zone. As well, there is a large mountain range to your west. So any humidity or any moisture that's traveling through the air would reach those mountains and essentially form up clouds and then just dump all of its moisture before it came over the mountains.
Right.
So the jet stream here moves in the same direction as it does in our timeline.
It does. I drew out the jet stream if you'd like to see it sometime.
Yes.
So fancy.
Got climate.
So this is a pretty darn big island then.
Yes.
How are you?
Okay, it's
When I head now?
Yes.
600 miles. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's bigger than I had originally pictured. This map is awesome.
Yes, it's a large continent, especially from like its very northern tip to its very southern tip. You're looking at 1,200-ish miles or so.
Okay.
Where did we come from?
You
get
came
here?
from the east. I don't
Take
have. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I meant from the island. Like, where did we? Because we had to go southeast, right?
Well, so
We're
you're
still-
still in that circle, that semicircle.
We haven't
Oh,
left
the
that
town.
We've only traveled a couple miles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. The entire thing is within that semicircle.
Right.
Yeah,
Got it.
So it would
Oh.
take about a month.
There's the semicircle in
cross.
that picture too.
here's the semicircle that makes up Orin,
Got
and
it.
there it is on the map.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So if we traveled an average of 20 miles a day, which is D&D mechanics, that would be about a month, assuming we can just walk in a straight line with no difficult terrain to cross from right to left.
Yeah, probably about accurate.
That's huge.
I'll get working on an airship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
a
carry
big
one of you.
Can you?
Dibs.
Just one.
Just one.
I don't want to be
Dibs.
carried by the drunk master monk. Thank you very much.
Yeah, here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this is pretty typical weather for this part of the world.
Council goes back to building the wall.
Yeah. Well, should we get back to it then?
Right. We certainly could. Honestly, if it were up to me, I'd say probably we could almost head back, or maybe head to the temple if you wanted to. There was some interest in seeing that earlier.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, my
You guys have done more work just in fending off those non. They'll probably think twice about trying to attack us again than building the wall. So if you wanted to stop here, we could. I'd certainly report back to the High Magister that you did satisfactory. Otherwise, if you'd like to keep building the wall, you certainly can.
If you see our promise fulfilled, perhaps we could be of more use in other areas. He looks to the rest of the group.
He looks over all of you and just says, I don't doubt that, yeah, you could be.
Council stands up and kind of looks at the rock he's holding in the wall, and then back to the captain. Like, kind of, he gives off this air of unsure of making this decision on his own, like he's unused to it.
I do not want to build a wall.
I think this would be a great opportunity to go back to the temple that we ran across on our way here.
I agree. The temple is something I'm greatly interested in. Captain Revan, do you consider our payment fulfilled at this time?
Revan? Or
Not Revan.
Vernon?
Verneth?
Verneth?
Yes.
Verneth. Sorry. Yeah, Verneth.
Yeah, absolutely I do.
Right.
I will say, just as a word of caution at this point, if we want to head to the temple for a little bit of sightseeing, then we probably won't be able to make it back to the city, to the walls of the city before dark. So we may end up camping out here.
Do you have any experience in such?
Oh, loads of times. Just letting you know. It's with the arid climate, it can get quite cold. Other than that, I've stayed out here plenty of times.
We've got 2 buildings right here for shelter.
I wouldn't stay this close to the water if I were you, but certainly there are other buildings along the way that we've camped at before.
I
think the information we may gain from the temple is worth sleeping on the ground for a night.
All right.
Do we need to rest?
It's not nighttime.
At what time of the day is it?
Right now, it's like noon. It's pretty much peak of the day, yeah. Because you guys left in the early-ish morning, walked for a couple hours to get here. It's it's noon-ish.
Okay.
Are you able to travel right now, Verneth?
I think with a little bit of assistance, I could for sure.
And to the rest of the crew, I feel good right now, but does anybody else need to rest a while before we move on?
Thanks to Wanda, I am mostly able.
Yeah, that was right cool what I saw from you, Wanda.
Thanks.
Do you know where does that come from? You don't have alchemite that you're working with, right? You don't have something?
No, it's the earth. My hand. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Can all of your kind do that?
All of what kind? No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you.
You people.
No, not all of us. I'm a particular specialization, one might say. But there's more than one of us, without a doubt.
Council's body language is going to indicate. Let's walk and talk. Let's go.
Happy to walk.
Okay. He kind of like looks at one of you to like he can like prop himself up on, like maybe use as a crutch to walk.
I'll give him a hand since I'm feeling just fine.
The 2 captains.
I'd be more than happy to carry you if that would make it easier.
Quite sure I'm comfortable with that yet. Maybe tomorrow on the way back.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll just take an extra pair of legs for now.
Right before Revan goes to help him stand, he reaches into his coat and says, I'd like to talk about something while we walk, perhaps. When I woke up after leaving this place, shall we say, before I got the old stone in me ticker, this was in my coat. And he holds out the broken compass that Spencer had described previously and looks to the group and Verneth and says, does this look familiar to any of you? And I've also noticed it's not working.
I'll take a look.
And we can also start walking at the same time. But.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys could be walking around while you're walking towards the temple while you're talking about it.
I think after council, Felix will have a look as well.
Yeah, you can pass it around.
Captain Verneth mostly just looks like, just kind of like, nope, don't know anything about it. Just give it a second thought. What are you trying to discern about it, Council?
Is it a broken compass? Like, is that all?
Make me a perception check.
9 plus perception 4. 13.
13? Yeah, it looks like a broken compass.
Okay. File for back.
Are there any, I can't remember if you said this or not, are there any symbols or special markings out of the ordinary carved onto it or inlaid in it?
Make me a perception check as well.
Natural 1.
Natural 1?
Yeah.
Just like quick glance, you don't see anything special about it.
Shoot.
Council gives it to Felix. Revan, you said you woke up with this?
When I came to, I rested a moment and then got up, put on me coat, and as I was walking to find ye lot, I noticed in one of my pockets the compass was there. I'd never seen it before in my life, and Reichert knew nothing of it either. So I'm not sure where it came from. And it bears well, yeah, I'll leave it there. Go ahead.
Those who tended to you did not place it.
I don't imagine so, but I have no real way to know.
Does Revan have his gun on him?
Yep, he does now. It is holstered.
And he didn't have it before, right?
Correct.
So he summoned it.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Council, as they're walking, kind of gestures to the pistol. And you have experience with things appearing out of nowhere?
That is a new one for me as of our time on the ship. It isn't, strange things have been happening to me, and this is a new stage of life for me. So to see my pistol materialize like that had not happened before. And I have a feeling that may not be the last of it.
I believe these two to be connected in that case. Whatever
perhaps
links you to your weapon may be similar to this.
The thought had crossed my mind, but you see, the things that have materialized for me tend to be inlaid with these tentacles. He kind of pulls back a sleeve on his arm and... But that doesn't rule it out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've not seen a compass that didn't point north before. This is a new one for me.
And it appears to be pointing somewhere, like something is...
It's loose, flappy.
Yeah, right now it's just not working at all. Like
it's
just with gravity. Yeah.
Right. Felix is gonna see if it's magical in any way, like if it was meant to have magic applied to it, or if it is magical, or like sort of.
Are you gonna do like a detect magic or?
Yeah, I'll do detect magic, and I don't know if there's any other sort of. Yeah, I'll do detect magic.
Okay. Yeah. So you cast detect magic on it. And you do get that there's a sense of magical essence from the compass, but it feels almost like it's magic behind a wall. It's faint. It's latent.
Interesting. Do you share that?
Is it like something blocking it, or?
Yeah, you're not sure if it's an intentional block or if it's just like it once was magical and maybe like that magic has faded or something like that. There's something that is making so the magic that was once on this compass is not currently working.
There's something preventing this compass from working magically. It's almost behind a wall or something.
And how do you know that, if I may ask?
I have said before, I have a way with magical things, especially when it's imbued into items.
The mighty are no match for the observant, it seems.
Could we see you do your detect magic then too? Like, is there
like
a hand wave, or it was obvious you were doing something?
There are, I think.
Yeah, somatic.
I think there might even be,
components.
Okay.
Is the compass shiny?
Put it in my nest.
Does it look like it can open up?
No, it looks like it's sealed.
Completely sealed. Okay.
Yeah.
My eyes fall out.
You're distracted currently. You're thinking about fish.
I hand it back to Revan.
Would anyone else care to take a look?
Nope, not me.
If you don't know how your weapon comes to you, how this came to you,
Well,
something must be sending it to you.
I have an idea of where my weapons come from. And he kind of leans in a little closer just to let Felix know, I'd be happy to share more with you, perhaps back at the inn. But as far as
I see how it is.
You're whipping right past me, mate. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about this.
No, we intentionally I guess depending on what our formation is, he's trying to say it so Verneth specifically doesn't hear. But without being
In the center of the conversation, you're trying to whisper to one person while everyone's looking at you.
But we're walking, so it's not like we're in a circle.
Right, but
I guess it depends on what our formation is.
You're like, does anyone else want to look at it? Oh, by the way.
Wander starts singing badly out of tune. Secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
It's a tale for another time.
Perhaps when we are in more comfortable.
Felix smiles as he takes a puff out of his cigar.
Yeah. But I can't be certain, but I don't know that the compass is of the same origin, but that's yet to be determined.
Council
he puts it back in his pocket. Breath. What's that?
Council mumbles something under his breath, but keeps walking.
What loud enough for people to hear that something was said, but inaudibly?
Yeah, if people wanted it.
Council, did you have something to share with the rest of us?
Something to share with the class?
It is a saying we learn as children with my people. Perilous is that which cannot be predicted. Be careful with your trinkets, Revan.
Trinkets? The only one I have is this compass, but I will heed your advice.
Don't keep walking.
All right. You guys can see on the horizon, and you could you saw it previously when you were walking before you split off. If you remember, if I click in on this map, before you split off to head towards the wall, see the very top of this temple. You can now see it again from where you were, or from where you are walking towards it. And as you get closer, it just becomes like impossibly large before your eyes.
Wow.
Also, as you get closer, there are more and more buildings. Still not like the extent that the other district has, but at least at this point in the city, there are a small smattering of buildings rather than just like one here, one, a quarter mile down the road kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, but eventually you come up to the outside of this building, which on the outside is made almost entirely of this same kind of like sandstone that the rest of the city is made out of that you've seen so far. It stands roughly like 300 to 350 feet high. Basically, imagine like St. Paul Cathedral.
Wow.
That's what you're looking at in front of you. It is longer than it is wide. You can see that it has a large like dome on top of it, and it also has a large bell tower in the front.
Is it obvious? Never mind.
Are the doors or is it open?
There are doors. There's two like big. They're wooden front doors, but they are two doors.
Wooden? Oh,
Yes.
This is the Elm. Is this the Elm Temple?
There are elm effigies around this temple.
From the outside, it looks identical to the temple that you guys have passed before when walking towards the academy in the other district. There's nothing from the outside that would distinguish this building from the other building that you've passed by a couple times.
So it was Vernith that told us that they were different. Okay.
Yeah, he said that the only difference is that the other one has some kind of dwarven figure inside. This has some kind of elm figure inside.
Looking at the wood door, does it Council finds it odd that wood would have survived this long. In his mind, does it look odd? Is there anything strange about it?
There isn't anything strange about it. It's very much like it looks like it's just very properly maintained wood. As weird as that sounds, like it doesn't look like there's anything special about it. Just that it is like very well done wood.
Wander notices Council looking at these doors made of flesh and investigates them with him. Does Wander notice anything interesting about them?
Make me an investigation check with advantage, just because you know wood.
I don't know wood.
Just rolled 2 14s in a row, so 15.
15? It looks like other flesh that you've seen before.
Flesh.
It's very well lacquered. Like it was preserved properly.
So just the treatments it received when it was in service has helped preserve it.
Yes, this is properly pickled flesh.
It's like a giant door made of jerky to Wander. Just kind of.
Yeah,
Wander, do you know this door?
I would say this is a distant relative, perhaps. Not someone close. He slowly traces the wood. No, not a close relative.
So you do see, like, across both the top and the bottom, there are like large metal brackets that, of course, are holding the logs together that form this door. But that's the only thing that you can see other than like handles on the front that are not wood.
Captain, has anyone entered this building before? Oh, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's how we know what's inside. And he kind of takes his arm off of Captain Revan, and he goes and grabs the handle and opens it.
Okay.
Same thing, like, handle doesn't look like it's really been used that much. Like, all of it looks very immaculate. And he opens one of these large doors, which opens with no issue. There's nothing really on the other side, except now you can see the inside of this massive temple. And he kind of starts walking in, and he just doesn't even wait for Revan anymore. He's just like, yeah, all right, come on in. Show you around the place.
Okay.
Will the other door budge? He opened one of the doors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tizal would open the other door.
Okay.
And stand in the middle of the doorway and let everyone else go explore.
Okay. Door? Yeah. And he begins walking inside. And I'll switch here.
Ooh.
So you have entered here, well, at the very bottom of this picture, into this large building. Immediately to your right and left, you see that there are two doors. And then about another, let's see, like 25 to 30 feet, there are 2 more doors that go to the right and left. And then past that, you can see a large open area, which is square as far as you can see. There are a number of pillars that are holding up the ceiling that are just massive. And at the base of each one of these pillars is one of these female elm statues that he had mentioned previously. And in the center of this building, there is that large dome that you could see from the outside. One thing that you could see from the inside is that this building doesn't actually have any windows, but from the dome on the top, it does not come all the way down to the rest of the building. So there's actually a sizable crack in between the dome and the rest of like the rectangular structure, which lets in plenty of sunlight.
Open air?
Yeah.
Council walks in and starts poking around.
Sure.
Actually, immediately going to go to one of the statues by the closest pillar.
Okay. So upon walking in, you'd probably head to you didn't even see where I clicked to zoom in. So this is the left. So if you're walking here, you just approach one of these 2 pillars here. All of the statues are on the inside of the pillar, so they're all facing towards the center of this large open area. And you can see, yes, that this is a intensely, immaculately created statue of an elm female.
How common are statues of deities in the world, from what I've seen? Do I have anything to compare this to? Would I recognize this?
Make me just an intelligence check. See if just in your studies, if you've ever learned anything about this.
13 plus 2, 15.
15? It's not bad. You know that different religions or different cultures around the world have different ways of showing their respect for deities. Mm-hmm. This sort of thing is not super common amongst the elm.
Okay.
They generally do not. It's like they could see the value in artwork for other cultures as a way of preserving their culture, but they do not value it themselves.
Okay. So this is more of like a Dwarn thing? Because the rest of the city appears to be Dwarn, right? From what we've seen on the walls and the carvings and stuff, and what Felix said.
Yes, everything in this city is Dwarn, except for in here. This statue is definitely a female elm,
right?
And it's hard. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, does it look like this temple was made by them and then decorated by someone else?
Maybe an investigation check.
Okay. Sorry if I'm hogging everything, guys. I have lots of questions.
Would Dwarn use wooden doors?
It's not unheard of. The Dwarn are very resourceful. If they're underground, they're going to be using stone because that's what they got around them. If they ever come out to the open air, they probably use some amount of wood in their structures. They probably stick mostly to stone, but stone has certain complications about it, where if you don't hook up some kind of magic to it, it's not going to move on its own. It's going to be very unwieldy.
Right.
14 for investigation.
14 for investigation.
Mm.
It could have been decorated by somebody else.
Okay, so it's like a maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I will say the statue itself of the elm female stands out more than anything else in this building as being unique. Everything else is Dwarnish, but then these statues, they're done with a level of care that generally the Dwarn don't have.
Okay. Council kind of mumbles about that as he's looking at the statue, just to keep everyone filled in on his train of thoughts, group collective knowledge.
When Felix walks in, he casts Detect Magic, ritual casts it.
Okay.
And he
just kind of keeps it up, walking around.
Yep. He's gonna kind of just scan the whole building for anything magical.
Okay. Walking around even like walking around the perimeter of the building, walking around each of the individual rooms, around the more like, I guess if you want to call it like worshipful area in the middle. Nothing really stands out as being magical in this temple.
Okay.
And what's in the center?
So this is actually a large table.
Oh.
So there are a number of these pews that are set up. You can see that there are a number of rows that are facing inward from either side. And then there are 3 other rows on each side facing inwards towards this large table in the center.
A table?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost just like a temple with this.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Is Verneth in the temple with us?
Yes.
Okay. I asked Verneth, like, this appears to be incredibly old and also incredibly well preserved. Do you know anything more about it?
I don't. We haven't really had much of anyone to investigate it. The temple in the other part of the city we mostly use as a sick bay or as a hospital. Don't really spend too much time looking at it as an actual place of deity or as a place of worship.
Interesting. Wander goes over to the table, climbs on top of the table, and just stands there with his arms up over his head as high as he can and just kind of looks around.
Okay.
Is he photosynthesizing?
He's just kind of trying to get a feel for the space and taking up some of the space in there.
Council just stares at him and tilts his head like a dog. Like,
So the one thing you will notice in just standing and absorbing the space is just how spacious it actually is. And it's also similar to the many buildings that you've seen up to this point, or the number of buildings that you've seen, not the many buildings you've seen, but the number of buildings you've seen. It's undecorated. There's no chests of drawers. There's no, nothing else of any, practical use or artwork in it, besides these pews and this single table.
Are the pews and the table bolted down? Are they attached to the ground, or can you move them around?
They're not. Oh, you can move them around.
Are they plain? Any engravings or carvings or anything?
You could see just on the ends of them, there's some very, very basic filigree along the the arm rests, I guess you call them. I don't know proper names for pew parts. Anyway, so yeah, there's some very plain filigree, but that is it.
Okay.
Would I, hanging out in the doorway as people have been searching, and especially casting rituals, would Tizal think it's safe to enter at this point?
Why don't you make me a perception check?
Ooh, that ain't gonna do it.
If they're not in here, I swear.
The temple's a mimic.
Surprise!
11. Yeah, 11. I don't think the door's gonna close on us. Do I?
I mean, you're pretty sure that the door would close behind you, but just because it's weighted in a certain way.
Okay.
Other than that, you haven't heard anything, you haven't seen anything. Sounds pretty safe.
Okay. Well, he can escape through the hole in the top, and everyone else dies, so he'll come in.
So as you go in, the top closes down.
Jerk.
The mouse trap.
He would want to search those side rooms on the entrance.
So these two at the very bottom, or the next two up, or all of them?
All of them, starting with the nearest ones.
Okay. So you go to open the door on the right or the left first?
Well, before I open, I would want to like investigate to make sure it's not trapped or anything like that. But I would start on the left-hand side.
Sure. Make me a perception check. Or an investigation
Oh, even worse. 6.
They look like they're pretty plain doors.
So all glory to Alacanther. I'm going.
Okay. Which one are you doing first?
Left.
Left door?
Yeah.
It is locked.
Awesome. Right door.
Right door opens up. Behind the right door, you see about 20-foot stairwell headed up. And then it reaches a platform, turns, and you're assuming that then it continues up.
Okay. I'm not going to follow that. I'm just going to make my way to the next 2 doors.
Okay. Next 2 doors are open.
Okay. Not trapped.
Oh, they're also not trapped.
Perfect. I'd go into the left first.
Looking into the left door, you can see that there is just a decent-sized plain room. It's about 25 feet wide, about 30 feet long. And it is plain. There is nothing in here. You can see that there are some cobwebs, but that's it. Just like collected in the corners.
Okay. Can I look at the floor, like around the entryway, to see if like anything large was ever dragged in and out? Like what kind of stuff maybe was housed in this room?
Sure. Yeah, you could make me another investigation check.
Oh boy, I'm gonna switch dice. 4.
4?
Then hangover, man.
Hard to tell. I mean, looking at the size of these doors, they're like standard doors. You're not sure if something if anything was stored in here, or if anything heavy was. Certainly, it was taken somebody really strong, because there's not like marks or anything you can see on the ground.
Sure. Okay. I would check the room on the right and just keep working my way up the rooms.
Sure. Does anybody else want to do anything while he's doing that, or just keep going?
I imagine Felix would bump into Tizal when he's checking the rooms, because I think Felix would have surveyed the main atrium, her area, and then gone back to the smaller rooms.
Okay. Revan goes. Sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean. Oh, Revan goes to one of the pews in the middle and just takes a seat, and he's takes a bit of time to look over the compass some more, just examining it for anything remarkable or anything he can figure out with it.
Okay. So then Felix and Tizal, while you're making your way around to the different rooms, why don't you, whoever wants to make the perception check or investigation check, whatever, you can just either make it advantage, or you can both make it separately.
Oh, I can't help because I'm not performant in either. So I would just make it separately. Proficient, not performant. Isn't that how the help action works? Don't you have to be proficient in something?
No.
I don't think you do.
No, if you help, it just gives them advantage on it.
Okay. I would probably give Felix advantage.
Yeah, I probably have the higher intelligence.
First of all, how dare you?
Well, my first roll is a nat 20.
Okay.
With a 4.
So you, Felix, investigating these rooms, you similarly find empty, unused rooms. It doesn't look like anything was ever in these rooms, anything was ever taken out of these rooms. They were built and then never used. You both do find, as you make your way up, that there is in the upper right and upper left hand rooms a number of tents that were set up in here, which when you find, Captain Verneth explains that previously when the workers would come out here to be working on the wall, they would just come back to the temple to sleep at night rather than walk all the way back to the city and all the way back out. And so they just kind of set up some pseudo-permanent living solutions here.
Which they don't use anymore.
They use very rarely.
Can we search the tents? The inside of the tents?
Sure.
Yeah.
What am I rolling? Hoss.
Just a perception check.
14.
You see some bedrolls. There are some like tools that are left behind, just that weren't brought back to the city with people. So like there's an occasional shovel or a pickaxe or a hammer or something like that. Other than that, it's really just tents and something to sleep on. There are a number of empty crates that are also next to each one of the tents. You're assuming that these were previously used for alchemy, because they're nearly identical to the crates that you saw down at the site.
While this is going on, Council's going to pull out his cartographer's tools and sit up on the center table and start updating his map of Zurich Bia.
Okay.
Trying to include the temple and maybe like a small sub corner to like have a drawing of what the interior looks like.
Sure. Okay.
So probably a few
Wander
hours.
is slightly perturbed, but moves to the side and allows him to do so.
Oh, I imagine the table was pretty big, so.
Yes. This table, it's about 15 feet across.
Okay, yeah.
So there's room enough for both of you.
Well, if
All
you push
right.
him, then I'll use a pew.
It's a good social distancing table.
Yeah, there you go.
There is plenty of distance between people at this point.
When Felix encounters the locked door, he's going to try to pick the lock.
Okay. Why don't you make me a sleight of hand?
Temple punches you.
So that's going to be...
Can I assist?
In the punching?
No, with the lockpick.
No.
I
Only
have a
because
beak.
You cheer him on. Do it.
I got a 17.
17.
Dang.
You fiddle around with it for a little bit, but you're not able to get it to move.
Wow. Must be secrets.
Bangs his all against it to set off his
no
alchemite.
Tizol takes out the alchemite and just kind of throws it.
No.
It's continuing the tradition of the monks having an orb of knock.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Felix.
Just blow that door off its hinges.
Felix.
Open it.
I could get it open if your lockpick tools are insufficient.
Let's not use the explosives in the ancient building.
You mean hotel for wall worker?
At least not while our friends are still in here.
Okay.
Or after, maybe.
Tizol knows what a hotel is. That's amazing.
You just spent the last couple, months or years in one, right? That's...
I don't consider a prison a hotel.
It's a hotel for vagrants.
Okay, let's bring findings to others. But we could get past door. And I would have told Felix too about the stairwell in the other room. I don't know if you would have already searched that room.
Why don't we go up?
Okay, let's go.
Sure. So you open up the door on the right-hand side, and you begin making your way up these stairs. It does about 4 of these loopbacks before you get up to what is like a first landing, and you can see that you are headed up towards the bell tower.
Let's keep going. Unless there's anything here.
No. Yeah, you keep walking up the stairs and get close to the bell tower until eventually you are in the bell tower that is over the front of this building. I don't have it included on the map, but it is essentially about 20 foot by 20 foot open air bell tower. And you can see at the center of it, there is a large metal bell.
Mm.
And from this vantage point, you can see for miles in each direction, looking out to the north and east. You are looking out at the ocean mostly. It's like a couple, what would be city blocks, and then ocean. And then looking back behind you, you can see the mountains on the far horizon and this open kind of barren area with the occasional like pockmark of a building every once in a while.
Is there anything remarkable about the bell?
You can make me a perception check.
Can I also?
Do you want to make it separately, or does one of you want one advantage?
I'll give him advantage.
No, you get advantage.
Oh, I do it?
Yeah, you're the monk. You're wise.
The sunblind dwarf probably is the best way to go.
It's also a knight.
20 on that advantage roll. 23.
23.
Yep.
Wow.
You can see almost imperceptible to the naked eye around like the bottom lip of one of or around the bottom lip of the bell. You can see a small little letter D.
Small lettered D?
A small letter D, like a cursive letter D.
I would reiterate that to Felix and ask him. A fancy letter. A D, I believe.
So actually, you, Tizal, you would not have known what it was because you don't know what writing is. But you would have pointed out this squiggly to him.
Fancy squiggle. Natural 20. Felix, what is it?
Felix is able to put together that is a fancy letter D.
Can I probably take a guess that it's whoever made the bell put their initial on it?
Probably not a bad bet. That or it's like the fanciest form of vandalism you've ever seen.
Not even the here.
It's on the inside of the bell.
It's on the bottom lip of the bell.
Yeah, not a very visible part.
Correct.
Guys, I tagged the bell in the tower. We can't see it. Well, I tagged it real small on the inside.
I know I was there.
It was Banksy.
It took hours to carve, too.
Yeah, what is this bell made out of? Can I tell what kind of metal it is?
Make me a investigation check with advantage because you know metal and stone.
Thanks for giving me advantage on all the rolls I could get a nat 20 on.
Oh,
because I got a nat 20.
Gosh,
yeesh!
Very intimate with the spell.
Felix is just gumming it when Council gets upstairs.
It looks like it's made out of some. It's some kind of alloy. Like it's made out of metal that you have seen in the mountains to the west of here. Like a a steel alloy. I don't know. It is a heavy A bell, is what you could put together from this.
Got it.
Heavy, expensive, well-made, durable bell.
And the ringer thingy is still attached, whatever you call that, in a bell.
It is. Yeah, the little like tongue inside. Yeah.
And does it look like it's been rang much? Like, are there marks on the inside?
I won't make you roll another roll because you got a 20. Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Hasn't been used much. Furniture not in rooms. I have a feeling that this temple was built and then not too long afterwards abandoned.
Agree. Do you want to hear the bell ring?
I would like to hear it ring. I would not like for everything else to hear it ring, though.
You're very wise. But I want to make it ring.
Maybe when we leave, we can give it a ring.
Okay. Let's bring findings to group. Then I make it ring, then we leave.
Just for funsies, the term is clapper.
Oh,
Clapper.
There you go. The bell's
wanted to
clapper
know.
is still there.
Tizal claps twice.
It echoes
lights up.
The bell swings. Oh no.
knocks you off the top of the building. But you can fly, so who cares?
Is there like a rope attached to the clapper that goes like down, or did
No,
they not think of that? Do they have to have someone come all the way up here?
there's not a rope that is attached to it from here that you can see. Which, since you can see the entirety of the bell, no, there's not.
Okay, let's head back.
Okay. You guys make your way back downstairs where Council is drawing. Wander is feeling the space. Captain Revan is looking at a compass. Which, Captain Revan, you recognize that, yeah, the internals of this building are identical to the one that you woke up in the other side.
And having spent more time examining this compass, does anything strike me as noteworthy?
Why don't you make me a perception check with advantage? Just because you're taking a little more time to look at it.
That is going to be 21.
21.
Yep, not natural 20.
You can see on the so the compass is circle, right? On the top edge of it, there's just like a little bump where it could be like attached to like a keychain, essentially, like a belt loop or something like that. Even though it's like a ship's compass, it could be made mobile. On the back side of that, you see also a little like filigree letter D.
Okay.
That's amazing.
So when Felix and Tizal come back down, do they share anything at all? Or actually,
No,
how about
nothing.
that?
Just kidding.
F you.
Did
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
did you lads find anything on your searchings through the temple?
There's a bell, and I'm going to ring it.
It's a very interesting bell that it looks like it's never been rang. And from that, I'd gather this whole temple was perhaps built and not too long after abandoned.
That would align with the lack of furnishings in all other buildings as well.
The metal from the bells appears to have come from the mountains. And I think the maker left their signature on the bell.
Oh,
What signature would that be?
It's just a single letter D.
A D, you say? Would it look anything like this one? And he kind of holds the compass out to Felix.
Does it look the same?
Identical.
oh,
Well, this is curious.
Throw
it
the
this-
compass at the bell.
Is it the same D?
Yes.
And is the metal the same, or does it seem to be a similar metal?
Okay, have another look at it.
The compass is very clearly not the same kind of metal.
Okay.
It's not the same kind of metal, but doesn't mean it wasn't the same creator.
Aye.
Maybe it was just mass produced by, and this is the brand.
Does this seem like pretty good craftsmanship? Like that it's like handmade versus being like something produced in mass quantity and just stamped, or
Yeah, this is not a mass-produced compass.
Just a Walmart compass. You know, you get them right next to the giant bell aisle.
Yep.
I got it at Hoonmart.
oh no.
Along with some toilet paper and ammunition.
It was in the adventuring aisle.
Well, this is curious indeed. I wonder, is Verneth near us?
Yeah, Captain Verneth is there.
Verneth, do you know anything of the history of this place? Do you know where that bell may have come from?
Haven't a clue.
Is it, Felix, is it common for craftsmen to engrave initials on their work? I'm familiar with such.
So one thing I guess I haven't really described that much is that all of Felix's gear has like a scorpion engraved on it.
Oh.
It's pretty common for a craftsman to have a brand, something they put on all their work. And he kind of gestures to his shoulder.
I am unfamiliar with such, but it does make sense.
Oh, so people know that you made it, in case anyone's trying to make forgeries of your work.
Council
Captain
tilts his head, slightly confused, but doesn't say anything.
Captain Verneth, does this letter look familiar to you? And he would point to the compass.
He would take the compass for the first time. It's like, yep, that's pretty clearly a little D. Hands it
Excuse
back.
me.
So
So
Verneth,
are you asking if I've particular letter D before?
That same inscription. Have you seen it before?
No, can't say I have. Hands it back to Captain Rowan.
I believe it would be safe to assume that this compass was made at the same time as this bell. Which, if it were true, that would mean this compass is exceptionally old.
well, or even by the same person.
Oh,
Not
that's
necessarily the same time.
fairly clear. If this is indeed a mark of their signature.
As he puts it back in his pocket, Riven says, Verneth,
Huh?
having lived here for some time, do you know who may know a bit of the history of this place? And kind of just gestures around the temple. This building.
No one at Orin really knows the history of this place. Probably the best bet is the High Magister. But other than him, I know that the Dawn live nearby, they might know better than anybody else.
If we cannot find answers in the Magister's ancient books, a visit to the Dwarven may be in our future. Although, he looks to Felix, I don't know how that would align with your interests, Felix.
I'll have to think about it.
Captain Vernoth, there is a locked door near entry door.
Oh, you're on the left side, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Why is it locked?
I assume it's locked because someone didn't want people to go behind it.
Tis all.
Are you asking if we locked it?
I was implying such, yes. I understand the mechanism of a locked door.
We didn't lock it. It's been locked ever since we've been here.
Did you see... this building is very parallel. Did you see another way down on the landing as you went up the unlocked side? Perhaps you can go up and then down the other side.
Or if there's a window on the other side.
Did we?
Perhaps.
You did not.
Ah.
No, the only way up to the bell tower was the one stairway.
Oh, okay. So it's not like most cathedrals that have parallel stairways.
Yeah, it doesn't parallel up. Nope.
Okay.
You said it was completely round opening around the radius of the dome, right?
Yes.
Could Tizal fly up and jump to the other side and see what's there?
The other side of...
Across from where him and Felix were able to get. Because if there's an opening, is there like any platform on the other side that I could fly to that isn't accessible by stairs?
Well, so you could fly up to the roof of the building, but the bell tower takes up like the entirety of this front area. Or it's 20 feet wide, so it's like double the length of the doors over that front area.
Okay.
You couldn't see anything else on the other side.
If I flew up there right now, would I be able to see if there's like any type of ledge I can actually cross over to potentially access that side that we know is locked?
Access that side? Like get inside?
Yes. I'm trying to see if there's like any type of ledge I could basically fly over and land on the opposite side of where Felix and I were from the bell tower. If that makes sense.
So when you came up the stairs, you were inside the bell tower. There is no like opposite side.
There's no other tower.
Yeah.
It's one tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can we gather this is probably like that secret that locked room is just like 1 or 2 floors? Like just based on the space from the stairwell and the bell tower?
You can make that guess, yeah.
Council starts to put his tools away. So, I'm going to make an assumption based on what we have learned. Revan has this mysterious compass, which has been crafted by the same person who made this ancient bell. Which means a craftsman from perhaps several hundred years ago, if not thousands, created these objects. And they are linked in some way. And the only person or peoples who may know are the Magister, who has books that were here before he arrived, and the Dwarven, who are the best record keepers, to my knowledge. Does that sound like a fair assumption to everyone?
Sounds fair to me. Now, Revan, do you know who made your weapon?
Before I answer that, can we take a quick break? I really need to pee, and my kids keep walking down here. There's food ready upstairs, so I want to quick go grab it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we can take a break real quick.
Sounds good.
Thank you. All right.
Let me put up my we're taking a break screen that doesn't exist.
I'm gonna make some dinner.
Google Doc. Help.
Put it in Notepad.
Oh yeah, Notepad.
My internets are being weird, so I'm gonna do a restart.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Actually, I don't know if even if I put it in Notepad, do anything or not, or if it's still just going to show Discord. Boop boop boop. Be right back.
Doo-doo. Ugh. Guess I'll mute myself while people are away.
Hi.
Oh,
Welcome to McDonald's. We drove through the McDonald's in Hastings one weekend,
yeah.
and we were greeted by that over the voice box.
Oh no.
Just this like high pitch, hello, McDonald's.
Wow.
And when we got up to the window to pay and get our food, we found out that person was not trolling us. That was that was their real voice. It was this like, I don't want to say old woman, but older woman.
Okay.
And that's just how she talked.
Okay.
It was something very memorable to us.
I'm excited for my dinner.
What's your dinner?
Let's see. For the main course, I have an RX bar, 2 strips of vegetarian jerky, a bottle of Soylent, a bag of salt and vinegar Lay's. For dessert, I have some fruit snacks.
That's nice.
A smorgasbord.
Well, I don't want to watch. I don't want to click on that.
Gross.
Oh, and by the way, the thing in the bell is a clapper.
Yeah, Adam said that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
Were you having internet issues?
Yeah, I think it's much better now. It was just, I was missing a word here and there.
Oh, tell your kids to stop playing Xbox.
Well, that's what I thought. And my son isn't even here, so I don't know what the crap is going on.
Huh. Is other members of your family streaming things in the other room or something?
No, it was, I restarted the modem and I'm doing much better. I was at 20 magic download points and now I'm at like 70 magic download points. So
magic download points.
You think that's how Comcast refers to them too?
Maybe. Like it's weird that because there's no way for the average consumer to like quantify what that actually means. Like my mom, she has no idea what her plan is. Like she knows how much she pays, she knows what the dollar amount is, but she has no concept of like how much data that actually is, like what that data equates to, anything.
A lot of people didn't until some providers started putting data caps in place, which made them start actually paying a lot more attention to how much data they use.
Right. I still don't think that like the average person knows like, is 20 megabytes a lot? How many megabytes is a megabit? Like, or vice versa. Like, it's all Greek to them.
I quantify it in episodes of 90 Day Fiancé that I can stream. That's like,
Why are you playing dinosaur sounds? I just put my ears in and all I heard was like dinosaur sounds. Like, was that not a sound plane?
what? What's
My
happening?
audio must have been going crazy. It made like this low guttural. It sounded like
you're
not
even getting.
Do you see
a
Crystal
velociraptor? I do.
Yes.
I do.
That is
It was like
best.
a velociraptor.
He's used to getting that look from all of us, so it's not like
Does Crystal have pink headphones?
She does. She has some
That's amazing.
pink Razer headphones.
10 out of 10. Love it.
Very nice.
I offered to get her the matching keyboard and mouse, but she didn't want it. I might open this door. It's really hot in here.
I'm actually going to open my window.
It's toasty.
You're opening your
Open
window?
your window?
Yeah, it gets ridiculously hot in my office. Ooh, PB&J.
I love your emphasis on the syllables there.
Is that leftover from Rosa?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't made for me. It would have been garbage otherwise.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Whether it goes into a trash can in your stomach, it's all trash, right? It's all garbage.
Mm-hmm.
This is one big garbage receptacle that just so happened to
Agreed.
speak.
Oh, Fluffy's watching.
Who's Fluffy?
So,
Fluffy is our friend
usual
Chris.
online friend.
Ah,
I think I've gamed with him once in person, I believe.
oh, is that Aaron?
No, it's
Is he Fluffy?
Aaron. Aaron is Lemur.
Cryptic Lemur.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Chris is Fluffy.
Okay.
I game with both on a regular basis.
And as far you actually,
I think I have met Chris once.
I'm pretty sure you have. Probably at Jack's or my house. Did he play Mansions of Madness at our house the one time you played that with us?
No, that was John.
I thought there was another person here too.
Mm-mm. It was just one extra person I met. I remember 2 people were visiting, and I think one of them was Fluffy. And it was at Jack's place.
Okay.
And
I
we
believe
played
you.
the... Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, he showed up towards the end of one of the D&D sessions.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that John? Wasn't he the one who was temporarily living with you?
John temporarily lived with me. Chris is not.
Chris what?
He has not lived with me.
Yeah, okay.
He's one of the few friends that Jack had with him.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you have a guest book that people sign? Or
It's Hotel Tui.
You get little like gift baggies as they leave.
Some people take in stray cats. The Tuies take in stray people. It's very kind of them.
Everyone needs a place to stay for a couple months every now and then.
I mean, I have a garage.
It helps afford time to find a place you actually want to live instead of picking the first one available.
mm-hmm.
True.
You guys are nice. It's a very
We did that
nice thing
for-
to do people.
We did that for a few years, several years when we had bought this ginormous house in St. Paul. And we had several friends from church and some exchange students stay with us. It's really fun. For us, it was a lot of fun. And it was also fun when our kids were little. They just got to meet a bunch of different people and just got kind of used to talking to new people, which I think
the kids love Eric.
Oh, really?
When Eric has his 2 boys too that have come over a couple times who are both
awesome.
5. Yeah. James just adores Eric though. He whenever he comes upstairs, James will follow him around, and then when he leaves, James will go over to the window and just press his face up against it and watch him pull out of the driveway. I feel like they're just so socially deprived right now that any new person is the most amazing thing.
How old are Eric's kids, did you say? 5? Both of them? So are they twins?
Twin
Yep.
boys.
Ah,
They're
okay.
rich twins.
Yeah, so when we have all 4 of them in the house, it's pretty exciting.
It's a party.
I bet. Pretty loud.
Yep,
That's cool.
they have fun though.
Good. Good. That's awesome.
All right, we can start. I'm done typing. All right. You guys are now in a big abandoned temple. And you've been here for probably an hour or 2 or 3. And it's starting to get in towards the afternoon and evening time. What would you like to do?
Do you want to continue that question or conversation, Felix?
Yes.
Do you mind asking it again? I kind of remember it, but not totally.
Do you know how your weapon was made?
So, DM, you can feel free to stop me during
What?
any of this if I'm going off track. But so, I had, and he kind of pulls it out of the holster to just be holding his pistol up. And it's very ornate with tentacles going down the barrel, like carved into the wood along the side of the barrel and the handle. I had this made for me years ago along my travels. It's a thing of beauty, and I paid dearly for it, but it wasn't born of mysterious origins like the compass I showed you.
Who made it?
An inconsequential, yeah.
Someone I probably won't be able to.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with a name, but yeah,
okay.
it was somewhere on our adventures from someone we came across.
Do you mind if I have a look at it?
Oh, he hands it over.
Felix very intently studies it and like eyeballs some measurements and sees what materials were used where.
And when we're go ahead.
I was gonna say, why don't you, Felix, make me a perception check?
11.
Yeah, super nice gun. Roll nice. Makes all the measurements.
When
what would unlike the is like the stats for this on the firearms table?
What?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't have any bonuses to it.
So is it a pistol, like
Yes.
1d10 piercing?
Well, he only uses it as a magical focus.
Focus, yeah.
When he's holding it, so that's what I was going to say. When you hand it back to him, there'd be like a brief flicker or crackle of a little bit of blue magic as he grasps it again.
Okay. And it is, you'd consider it a pistol.
It looks like a flintlock pistol. Yep.
Sure. Okay.
But it's just it's very ornate. It's clearly well crafted.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you use in battle with the normal pistol shoot bullet. You did not shoot bullet. What was it you shot?
To nitpick, I don't know that I actually fired it during that battle.
You 100% did.
You did.
You shot it again. Yeah.
You used it, yeah. Yep.
I used it on the ship for sure, but okay, I didn't think I had used it.
You used it when Tizal was right next to you and you were shooting into the building. He was
That's
right
why,
there.
sure.
Yeah, it's why suddenly Felix is taking note as he heard it go off.
Which you probably didn't actually hear like a gunshot. You would have heard whatever magical sound happened.
Sure.
He shoots out.
That's true.
It's more of a pew pew.
The slurp of a tentacle.
Like the Jetsons.
It's actually the sound that like Stitch's gun makes from like Lilo and Stitch. It's like
Ugh.
Just yogurt being splurted out of like an icing.
yep, exactly.
A piping
Extruder.
bag. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, piping bag. Just-
Yeah.
So did you ask me a question, Tizzle? I'm sorry, I lost track.
Yeah,
of where
I
we're at.
asked you. I basically said you didn't shoot a bullet. What did you shoot?
A sort of energy, magic, if you will. Not unlike the rest of our friends here, as he gestures around to Wander and well, Just one? No, I suppose Felix too.
Council.
Has he seen magic from Council though?
Not in combat. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Building the wall. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So it kind of gestures around to the party.
Even Tizal uses like his key. Is that considered magic?
Nah.
It's just some spiritual mumbo jumbo.
I'm not a book nerd.
You're a data nerd though, according to your T-shirt.
While this is happening,
Data.
Data. Revan is not attempting to deceive you, but definitely holding back a bit.
I got that sense. I'm not going to push anymore.
while this is happening, Council's going to go to the locked door.
Sure.
Just people can keep talking. That's where he's headed.
As soon as Tizal sees him go to the locked door, he's going to follow him.
Okay, conversation over, I suppose.
Just tossing
Such a
the
squirrel.
red alchemite.
Is there a keyhole? A
Is
place
there-
for a key.
That's a good question. Yes.
What was I picking? If not,
Right, if you tried to lockpick it, I mean.
it was just like scratching the door with the lockpick.
You know the trick where like you can slide a credit card
Yeah.
latch, you know, just like you're trying that. Just
trying to jimmy it.
Piece of flint.
Felix grabs the doorknob, is like, gives it a shake. Ah! Locked.
On this one.
Spoiled again.
Felix's like Home Depot card. Dorn Depot.
He would have a Dorn Depot card.
Yeah.
Council's gonna crouch down and see if he can see
Next to
through the
Unmark.
keyhole.
Okay.
Hmm.
You can.
Ooh. I'm sure the very small room to kind of move left and right, tiny perspective, but is there anything that jumps out?
Do you have dark vision?
I don't know. Let me pull up my manual.
I don't believe you do,
I do not.
and you see nothing.
It's
It-
pitch black inside.
It is very dark.
There are
Can
no
you
sources
see
of light
anything?
within.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, I give him room to peek in.
Okay.
60 feet of dark vision.
So you-
What do I
Such a neckbeard.
It's like every D&D meme. Dark vision? I have dark
Dark
vision.
vision? Mine?
You can see that there is a stairwell going down
Oh.
for 20 feet, and then it reaches a wall and turns. Nearly identical to the stairwell going up behind you in the other stairs, but just down. Because that's how downstairs work.
Yes, it's very accurate. I reiterate that. Can I pick the lock with my talons?
I'm just going to say no.
You break a nail.
Okay.
The size of your talons is bigger than the lock, or like bigger than what you couldn't, unless you were to like whittle down your talon, you couldn't fit it in the hole to be able to try and pick it.
I'm going to multi-class as a rogue just so I can play that out, by the way.
Done.
I cannot open with my talons, but he pulls out the red alchemite to council. We could get it open.
That alchemite created a large crater in the ground, disrupting soil and rock. There are much more precise ways to open a locked door with force, dear friend.
So are y'all just trying to figure out what's on the other side of the door and what's in the room?
Would you ask nicely?
Did we all follow over there?
Yeah, I mean, Council, once he knew that there was a stairs down, he would kind of look at the group and wave. So people can
Oh.
come over, but
gonna pretend that Captain Verneth is still off looking at other stuff inside the temple. He doesn't know.
He's just staring at the wall.
He's classic NPCing. He's running into a wall.
you get by him. He turns to face you, but he's still walking into the wall.
Yep.
Then he sits on air.
Yep.
And since this is technically not our home, and Captain Verneth is the one who is in charge, we would have to ask him before doing anything to alter the structure.
I could just go into the room and investigate and tell you all what's there, and then we can try and figure out how much energy we want to spend getting into the room.
Go right in.
If you are able to do so, but able to leave quickly if there's something dangerous. Because clearly, someone doesn't want whatever's under this temple to be found.
You make a good point there. I still think I'll be fine.
I look forward to seeing this. Carlson steps back.
Wander turns into a spider.
Okay.
What?
You watch as this large tree just kind of like folds in on itself down to the point where it's just like this little like wicker spider that crawls its way up the door in through the lock and is gone to your sight. Do spiders have dark vision?
I believe they do.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
Live
30
in the
feet.
dark.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see the same thing that Tizal saw at this point, which is a stairwell going down. I'm assuming you want to follow the stairwell.
Yep. Wander hustles down the stairs.
All right, you get to the bottom.
He does so. He doesn't go down on the stairs though. He walks along the wall just so he doesn't. Yeah.
Sure. As you begin to make your way down the wall, the temperature in here quickly drops, whereas it was a little warmer than comfortable upstairs and like out in the sun. Inside the church was a little cooler than that. Once you are behind this door and headed downstairs, it is getting cold quickly and damp. You can feel that the air is very moist in here. As you are making your way, sorry, that is a trigger word for Luca, apparently.
No, I'm just trying to piece together what I think might be happening. I don't find that word offensive. It's okay.
As you make your way down the stairs, you get to this first landing, and you kind of round the corner, and you look, and there is another set of stairs that continues downward.
I keep on going.
Okay. How long does your beast shape or whatever you're using last?
That is a good question. I think an hour?
It's based on your level, I think.
Either way,
you're able to
go down there.
Hours numbered equal to my level, so yeah, 3 hours.
3 hours? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you make your way down and down and down, and you do a similar amount of like 4, 5, 6 back and forth until you are very deep underground.
Okay, sorry, it was half my druid level rounded down, so it's actually just 1 hour, not 3 hours.
Okay. You were able to make your way all the way down to the bottom level of the stairs, where you are similarly met with another door.
Okay. Approximately how much time has passed? Does it seem like to wander without a watch?
In the amount of time it took you to get down there, maybe 15 minutes, just because of your size.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try going through the next door.
Sure. So this door is laid out identical to the one above. There's the tiny little keyhole that you're able to kind of crawl up the door and in through. As soon as you are to the other side of the door, you are in the midst of a very long hallway. And you can only know it's very long because you can look 30 feet in either direction. And there's a point where you can see no more because your dark vision ends. But it is slightly sloped to the east, or to your right when you come through the door.
Okay, I'll go down.
You'll start making your way down, and I'm assuming the wall.
Yeah, stay on the wall, and I'm keeping track of time. So when I reach about a half an hour, I turn around and head out.
Okay. You make your way down, and at this point, it's almost freezing down here. Very, very chilly. And you're making your way down, and you just keep traveling. And by the time you reach the half-hour mark, you are still just crawling along in this hallway.
Okay, I head back.
Okay. You turn around and you head back. Make your way back out, up through the keyhole. Everybody else, it's an hour before Wander comes back. What would you like to do with that time? Assuming you're not just standing at the door waiting.
Keeping my ear pressed to the door for any sign of trouble the entire duration.
Okay.
I want to
Tizal's
take
looking through the keyhole that whole time.
Okay.
So while he's looking through there, I want to take an opportunity to tap Tizal and attempt to very plainly and simply explain to him the general concept of construction or basic architecture, and that if he were to explode something inside an ancient wooden building, it would likely just collapse and kill all of us, or there would be a strong chance that that could happen. We don't have to RP it out, but I want to like, and not in a jerky fashion, but in like a matter of fact, like, look, dude, if you throw this thing in a building that we're in, there's a strong chance we're gonna not do well.
It's fair to assume that a bird person might not know what like buildings are, besides the jail that he was kept in for a couple months.
Well,
If you
just the fact that he keeps wanting to throw this bomb inside these ancient buildings, like, dude,
If he,
maybe
to be
don't.
clear, if he wanted to, he would have done it. He was just proving an alternate way to move forward with getting through the door.
he was pulling a time Jarvis is like, I blow up the door.
He also, I want to say one other thing to him too.
By the way, when you're telling him that, you know he hears you, but he's not listening.
I get it. So the last thing I want to say to him is, so as you're taking your time to take flight and flap about and often be the eyes of this group, perhaps it would serve us best if I held on to that rock of yours. And you could have it any time you like, but I could ease that burden for you, friend.
Captain Revan, I do not know how to say this word, but it feels like you think I am stupid.
This is not a...
Do you believe I am stupid? Stupid is word.
Revan definitely does like a chin scratch lip kind of thing and has a little bit of a smirk and replies, this is not a matter of intelligence, but one of my safety and those we travel with. I don't mean to die again.
If you do not wish to die, do not try to take my belongings. I will keep rock. I found rock. It is my possession.
While this conversation is happening,
In danger.
Council's just going to slowly look at Felix and then back to the door.
I'll leave you with your rock that you most clearly stole as you took it from the box and didn't quite find, but if you'd like to keep it, I don't intend to take it from you by force. He gives him a little bit of a pat, like, chill out, dude.
Can I attempt to pick this lock again? How does that work?
You can certainly try. The DC is higher.
Oh,
It's generally like how retries are handled.
right.
This all holds out the rock.
I'll give it one more go. This roll was worse.
Oh no!
It was only 16, but it's still worse than a 17.
I put my foot on his elbow and pushed to give him advantage.
You end up breaking your toolkit as well.
No.
No, yeah, you're not able to pick the lock. There's something that feels familiar about this, but also incredibly foreign. It's kind of like when you walk out of an airport in another city. You're like, oh yeah, I know what airports are. I know this feeling, but I recognize none of these surroundings.
Right.
All right, and an hour passes, assuming that people don't want to do anything else, and Wander comes back. You, Tizal, looking through the hole the entire time, you eventually see the little spider round its way around the corner and come back up and up the door and through the keyhole. And you watch as the little Wiccan spider turns into Wander again.
Council tilts his head. I don't think that's ever going to get old for me.
Wait, say that again?
I don't think that's ever going to get old for me.
I'll be honest, it hasn't gotten old for me just yet. I enjoy it quite thoroughly, especially the look on people's faces the first time I do it.
Tizzle's mesmerized. He's like,
At any rate, I went down the stairs, lots of stairs. It goes down quite a ways. It got cold, very, very cold, colder than you would anticipate from a root cellar. I don't know what that's about. Eventually, there was yet another locked door. I went, which led to a long hallway. I went down about as long as I could, and I didn't run into anything of interest. So, if there's anything particularly interesting down there, it's a ways down there. Basically, the hallways are just about as sparse as it appear, except without the pews and the tables.
And I trust you know quite a bit about a root cellar.
I throw the alchemite at Revan.
About as much as you know about your shoes.
do you actually say that?
Yep.
Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Tizzle laughs. He doesn't know what you're talking about, but he thinks you think he's stupid, so he laughs.
Just making a friendly joke to Wander.
There's nothing quite so enticing as a locked door.
Yeah, right.
We find a way through there. We should maybe dress a little warmer.
And
Would not be
perhaps
a bad idea.
we should gain a bit more information of this place before we decide to make ourselves at home in the depths of it.
We should rest before taking on an adventure such as a scary staircase down into the depths.
I suppose that would be rather unpleasant for one of your kind.
Who, me?
Yes, the bell underground.
Cold. Underground, yes. Cold's okay.
Council's gonna go. Go ahead.
I wouldn't mind asking about a bit in town as to if anyone knew the maker of the bell in the tower. Might lead us to some clues of the old compass. And he pats his coat pocket where the compass is.
You realize this bell is perhaps thousands of years old, right? Why would anyone know the maker?
But just because something is old doesn't mean it hasn't been passed on who the creator was, or to know anything about him. Or
There are books that we figure are as old as the bell.
Yeah.
right. I imagine
His Majesty.
there's some kind of information on it.
Council's gonna go inform we'll go to the captain, I guess.
Okay. You find Captain Verneth. He's actually at this point, he's made his way out one of the other doors at the back side of the temple. Because there are a number of other doors. He's made his way outside and is kind of like looking around the outside of the building and like comes in every once in a while, sees that you guys are still busy. Then he kind of goes back and has just been looking around for a while.
Okay.
Scratching your back, Barnabas.
It itches so bad.
Look for the bare necessity.
But so you find him near the back of the temple.
Okay. Captain,
All right.
through the magical mysteries of our wonderful tree companion, we have managed to discover some aspects of what is behind the locked door.
Oh, was that so? What's that?
It is a dark room with a fairly long staircase leading down. It is unnaturally cold, and there's a long hallway at the bottom of the stairs.
You don't say. Wow. I wonder what's down there.
We would like to know as well. Do you have any qualms with us potentially forcing the door open? Not in a destructive manner, but in a way that would potentially damage the door.
I reckon you'd probably want to clear that with the High Magister before anything else.
He seems like the one who would pursue knowledge. Do you think he would be interested in knowing what is below one of these ancient temples?
I imagine if he knew that, that was down there, he'd probably want to get to know it.
I think that is a
And
fine
there's
idea.
there's the matter of these, he points to his neck, that you may want to take care of first before we go and doing anything nefarious.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm kind of perplexed that we've stayed around here this long. I thought you'd want to get back there and get those off.
Well, we have to camp, don't we?
Right, but I mean, the longer we stay here, the longer it's going to take us to get back. We're going to have to camp either way. But
Right.
are we going to get back at 9 in the morning, or are we going to get back at 11 in the morning?
Okay, let's rest. We get up early. I ring the
It'll
bell,
happen-
and we go.
it'll
back
happen
to
tomorrow.
morning.
It'll happen tomorrow regardless of the time. And in no particular rush.
All right. So is the intention to camp here for the evening? Or do you want to start walking back?
If we have time, I think we should start walking.
Oh, we've got loads of time. It's just whatever time you guys want to finally collapse for the night.
Assuming our companions have nothing else they wish to do here.
No?
Huh? Right.
Ring the bell, but
I'm not sure how I feel about ringing the bell, 'tis all. Perhaps when we are far away, you can do it and you can fly to catch up to us.
given information that there is spooky stairway going into ground, I will not ring bell, but I do want to ring bell.
That seems a wise decision from a friend who doubts his own intelligence. For an unguarded and unused bell may have uses that we not know of.
I told you I'm smart.
Maybe it has something to do with that compass. Maybe it needs a little bit of a wake-up.
That
That
begs the
could be
question,
true.
Captain Vernon, has the
All right.
bell in the other temple ever been rung?
It is not. At least not to my knowledge. I don't know if it's ever rung before I got here, but certainly in the time I've been here, it is not.
But a good consolation is we go ring that bell.
Me.
At least
This
see
was-
if it's the same maker.
I am curious if bell back in city is marked with same markings.
We
As
shall
am
find
I.
out tomorrow.
We could also
Yes.
ask the Magister if he's ever rung the bell before, and he could tell us if anything happens, if everyone's toenails falls off as a result, or whatever happens.
Assuming we are going to remove our collars first thing in the morning, that will be a good question to add to our list.
Yes, let us go.
All right, aye.
All right, I'll lead the charge then. And he kind of goes out to the front door, opens it, and pulls it in, and walks outside. You all follow suit.
after him. Yep.
All right. You then make your way back, very similar to the way that you came. And as the night goes on, the temperature, as he said, once the sun goes down, it starts to get rather cold here. Not frigid, but it is certainly not comfortable. How late would you like to walk into the evening?
I would defer entirely to Captain Verneth, who has been here many more times than I have. Just like what threats are here,
Sure.
best places to camp and such.
He later on in the evening, as you're having this discussion, says, there's a nice little couple houses up here. If we want to stop, we're about an hour or two out from the wall, meaning the main wall back to the main city. So if we want to camp here for the morning and get there nice and early in the morning tomorrow, or camp here tonight, get there nice and early in the morning tomorrow, words are hard, then we can do that. Otherwise, if you just like to camp at the wall, be right there when it's time to open up, then that'll work too.
Council defers to the group.
Are these houses occupied?
Oh, absolutely not. No, there's no one who stays out here.
Then perhaps a house is the safest way. I always prefer a bit of shelter when on land.
Do these houses have scary basement that leads into depths?
Not that we've seen. Why don't we just stay in one of the houses tonight? I'll make it nice and easy for us and choose.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right?
Don't railroad me, bro.
Not sure what a railroad is. But
I
all
stick
right.
my head in the sand and I sleep.
Perfect.
Good night, everyone. Ostrich.
You guys walk for about another 30 minutes before you reach just kind of these like two houses, not as close in proximity like the ones that were down by the wall previously, but they're, a couple 100 yards away from each other. You pick one of the houses to sleep in. You can see that, just like he had said, these were previously used as kind of like way stations along the way where people have camped before. So there are similar tents to what you saw in the temple, with similar bedrolls. But other than that, it is just as barren as any of the other buildings that you see.
Okay. I set up right next to the front door.
And he
Do-
just go ahead.
Should we take watches for protection?
It's not a bad idea. I'd be happy to take first watch.
I can take second.
I'll
Aye,
take
and if-
the rest.
If we need any other watches, let me know. Feel free to wake me.
All right. You guys.
When we kind of go to our, getting ready to, or setting up camp, I guess, Felix is gonna walk over to council. Now, you mentioned you wanted some modifications to your weapon.
That is correct, Master Felix.
Now, what were you thinking?
I fear my abilities will outgrow my equipment as we continue to grow and learn on this journey. Primarily, the issue of ammunition and reloading. Typically, a weapon that I am familiar with can be fired but has to be reloaded manually. I am familiar with this, for it is how I was trained. But if I were to somehow have a way to do so with just one hand, it would save me a lot of time in combat.
I have something in mind. Do you mind if I see it?
Unfortunately, it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, well, the weapon you currently have will do.
It's not something I would wish to use long term. I have to use two hands for this crossbow, whereas my traditional fighting style requires one hand for a smaller crossbow.
You still have to reload this big crossbow, though.
I do. Well, if this would aid you, yeah, he hands him the light crossbow that Felix gave him, his light crossbow.
It'll be ready in the morning. And if you fancy a different weapon later, we can transfer this modification pretty easily.
I am both surprised and not surprised at the sudden development. I know you derive joy from your tinkering, but to do so for someone with no payment, what do you get out of this, if I may ask?
No, just knowledge, and it's something I'm already familiar with. He pulls out a dagger,
Mm-hmm.
and he chucks it at the wall, and it sticks into the wall, and it's there for like a second, and he holds his hand out, and the dagger just kind of dematerializes from the wall and appears back in his hand.
What? That's so cool. Although Council just, blank mask stares at the wall and back to Felix.
It's kind of the same idea. We'll just make the dagger into a bolt.
Is that done through alchemite?
No.
One of the many quotes that was instilled in me by an instructor at a young age was, "Power is the reward of the patient," and I believe that is something that you embody quite adamantly.
Oh, I thank you.
I appreciate this.
I never considered myself very patient, though.
How long did it take you to build this power suit?
Too long.
Precisely. I do have one question. Sorry to ask more of you. This alchemite, where does it draw its power?
Do I know? I'm assuming I don't.
Did you ask where does the alchemite draw its power, or where does the suit draw its power?
The alchemite.
The alchemite? Felix, you would know this, just from your experiments with the alchemite. Your knowledge is that the alchemite itself is kind of a blank slate in its natural form, and it can be imbued with certain elemental magic or elemental energy for a period of time, and basically it will run out at some point, but it can be used for a while. So the primary source of it is some form of elemental energy.
Okay.
Yeah, I relay that. From my brain to you.
So it is a more magical version of a glass bottle, so to speak.
Yeah. That's a good way to think about it.
So the fact that Captain Verneth discarded the mundane alchemite seems somewhat wasteful if they can be reused, correct?
No one's been able to put the contents back in the bottle yet.
So then my question is, how do they get imbued in the first place?
You see him smile with his cigar in his mouth. That is a good question, isn't it?
You would know the answer to that, Felix.
Oh, I do.
You would, yeah.
It
How
pulls
did
a
they
teacher
get
on me. Good question. Pat walks away.
At least for the alchemite that you have experimented with, you have had to find that element naturally and then imbue it with that. You imbued the alchemite with that element and then it held on to it. So for instance, if you were to take some like raw alchemite, put it like in fire, it would absorb the energy of that fire and then become red alchemite.
Ah. Do I know what all the elements they're imbued with? Like fire for the red, like what's green? Is that
so you have not personally seen the green yet until Captain Verneth. You know that it is some form of life energy.
What's the blue?
Blue, you are not certain. Gauging from the abilities of your suit, you might be able to make an educated guess that it has something to do with lightning or electricity.
Sure.
But you're not positive on that, because that was the one form that you weren't ever able to get your hands on down where you were.
Sure. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Huh.
So, when alchemite is mined, does it have power in it already?
It doesn't. No.
So, there are 3 stages of alchemite. 1, raw. 2, after it's been imbued. And 3, spent and cannot be used again. Is that correct?
Okay. So it can't... The raw alchemite can be imbued, but once it's inert, like spent, it can't be imbued again.
Right.
Yeah.
Council folds his arms and kind of stares at the ceiling and thought for a moment. Interesting.
At least as far as you have seen and experimented.
Do we know that if like the powder? I'm not in this conversation, but like if you imbue the alchemite and it's powdered, it can't go back to stone form, right?
Correct. It's just like any other stone, at least in that. Well, unless you were to try and smelt it or something into some form, it would never be able to return back to like a solid rock again. Once it's turned to sand, it's sand.
I wonder if these green alchemite gems have anything to do with wonder and the parts of the world that he represents.
Could be. I never discovered how the green ones get imbued.
Curious. I have many questions for the Magister. Also, where I come from, we all try to contribute as much as we can to help each other. If you were to do this modification for me, what can I do for you in return?
I can't think of anything right now, but I'll just take an IOU.
I'll owe you a favor.
And so what is it called? Returning weapon? That is what's currently on my dagger. That's an infusion.
Okay.
And I have other infusions. I can have 2 at a time. I think I already explained this to you, Spencer.
Yep.
I switched one out when I leveled up to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the infusion I'm going to put on Alex's weapon, which is the repeating shot.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So
Very
So
cool.
when I'm just spamming eggplant emojis in my head right now.
You gave him a Gatling crossbow.
Yes.
It's basically the exact same as the returning weapon, but on a ranged weapon.
It also gets a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That is
That's
fantastic.
that's also what returning weapon does. But yeah. So yeah, I'll just send you the text. But basically, yeah, you get +1 bonus attack to attack and damage rolls. When it's used to make a ranged attack, it ignores the loading property if it has it. If you load no ammunition in the weapon, it produces a stone, automatically creating 1 piece of magic ammunition when you make the ranged attack.
What?
The ammunition created by the weapon vanishes the instant after it hits or misses a target.
Wow.
So I'm just kind of RPing that it's basically like it's just shooting the same bolt and it just comes back.
You
Would
also
that automatically. Sorry, I was gonna ask: is it automatically making like the ammo also magical since it's a +1 weapon?
the ammunition is not magical. Oh no, it says
And
1
what?
piece of magic ammunition.
Yep.
If it's not loaded, it
Correct.
creates magic ammunition.
Right.
Yep.
Sorry, just because magical weapons sometimes I want to make sure that I understand how they work. Just because. Anyway, I'll shut up.
You well, we can get to it when you first
Yeah.
fire it.
So if I can have the conversation with council in the morning, but that's
Yeah.
it for the beginning for me at least.
Yeah. Huh. Cool. Thank you. So that's tied to your class. So if something were to happen to
Officer,
Felix,
baby.
I would lose
He's
that.
gonna tell you. He's gonna tell you.
Oh, okay. Hello, tiny
Tiny Italiana baby.
bosom.
Mhm.
Italiana. Right? Not Italiano. Italiana.
Be Italiana.
Do you teach her Italian?
Try to, and I always forget.
Forget Italian or forget to
Forget
teach?
to teach her. They say to teach them both words like now when they're young. Remember that night?
Adorable.
Mhm.
Denied.
Yeah. You're embarrassing me on stream, Rosa.
Like, no excuses for you, Daddy.
This is going to be recorded for all time.
Good night. Go see Mama.
How do
Love you.
you say goodnight in Italian?
Buonanotte.
Oh no. That's too much energy for good night.
That's the Italian way.
Or was it not enough? Yeah.
Yeah, I toned it down. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt everything.
No, it's fine.
Nope, session's over. No way to ruin
Good night, everybody. Bye.
it. Bye. See ya.
All right.
Yeah.
Who had first watch? I'm assuming you guys
Wander.
are going. Sorry. Wander, go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
I'm going to eat some M&M's while you do this. For some sweet
That's
Italian ASMR.
15.
15?
Hmm. Oh, and Wander at some point in his shift also changes into a giant badger with night vision, so he can see a little bit better and just kind of ambles around as this gigantic badger, keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
Kelsey's is gonna wake up like, animal, shoot.
You spend the entirety of your time very eventless. You turn it into a badger to try and liven things up, and it's very quiet out here. There are no sounds you can hear where you are. Like,
Okay.
It is just dead quiet except for the breeze that is kind of rolling through. Other than that,
Sounds good.
it's boring. Next, make me a perception check.
Yep. Would you say I have advantage because it's nighttime?
No.
Cool.
Unless you have something in your racial ability that gives you advantage on perception checks at night.
No, I have advantage on stealth checks made while flying in dim light
that's
or
right.
darkness.
Yep.
Natural 1?
You don't make it more than a couple minutes into your watch before you pass out. You get up because Wander wakes you up, and then you quickly fall back asleep.
Yeah, I got it.
Does the sound of the red alchemite exploding wake everyone else up?
Sure does. And then who had the last watch?
I did.
Did you have some way of waking up in mind other than Tizal waking you up?
Your suit has it a lot.
I think he was going to set something up to wake himself up because he wants to work.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right, sure.
Yeah.
So you wake up at the time for you to get up, and Tizal is already asleep.
Yeah, he just
but nothing happened.
Shakes his head and gets to work, and he's like keeping an ear out when he's doing his. He's like carving some little bone bits to inlay in the crossbow, but it's nothing very intricate.
Okay. Then you can make me a perception check. Yeah, just a perception check.
8.
Oh gosh, guys.
It's a pretty quiet night. Yeah, eventually the sun rises and you are finishing up your bone project.
We wake up and realize that the sun isn't coming up. That's because the Non have built a dome around us. Their warriors,
You are now their pets.
Oh no.
You wake up.
Inverted snow globe.
Is that a Grim Prairie Tales reference?
No, but it might be.
Oh, it's
Grim Prairie Tales is
old weird movie. It was kind of a Twilight Zone ripoff. But there's this one, and it's cowboys. So there's this one cowboy that he's like, there's this Indian burial ground, and the other cowboy is like, let's not stay here. And he's like, what do you mean? It'll be fine. And he stays there. And of course, and there's all these mounds, and he goes to sleep. And of course, the Native Americans come in and build a mound around him while he's sleeping. And he just wakes up in the morning, and it's like, it starts pounding on it. No.
Hi, new phobia.
I thought you said Grimm. I thought you said Grimm's fairy tales at first, which I have read and I love those, but I didn't know what you were talking about.
Grim Prairie Tales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If we're at a point of waking up, there's something I'm going to do right away.
Sure. When you wake up, your dragon is gone. Your pseudo dragon's gone.
Yeah, well, that I was gonna say. I was gonna attempt to summon him.
Oh,
because I have to summon him every day.
You cannot.
Does anything seem different on me?
Your gun's a little more sparkly. Oh, and you do notice that the saber that you had been given by the other crew of the ship, it has now changed form to match your prior saber that you had. So with the similar like tentacle motif. Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Other than that, it's morning.
Felix comes over to council again and places the crossbow in front of him. Now you've used magical items before, right? You'll need to attune yourself to this.
I am only slightly familiar with them, but I understand.
We need to form somewhat of a bond with this, at least while you're in use of it. And then it'll listen to you.
I greatly appreciate this. It will be very useful.
And it does come with a little caveat. It's also linked to me in some way, so if I go out, if I die or go unconscious, you'll need to find a way to load it again.
Very well. I will keep spare ammunition on me as needed.
Alright.
I take it. I'll look at it. Kind of feel it around. Not his favorite weapon, but better than no crossbow. Plus, it has unlimited ammo, which is fantastic.
True. All right.
Cool.
You guys, I'm assuming, do nothing else in the morning, and Captain Verneth is ready to get back on the road.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't have the infusion on my dagger anymore. It's just the infusion on my armor and that. So
okay. it's a +1 to attack and damage, and ignores loading.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't have ammunition, it finds it, and it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you.
You then make your way towards the big wall of the city. It takes you, like the captain said, maybe another hour or two, and you get to the big stone walls. You can see them from a ways away, and they go basically the length of the horizon in either direction. And when you get to it, it is the same large stone doors on this side, and you can see that it has the same sigils on either side of the door, but they are not lit up by anything. They are muted at this point. So when you get up to the door, Captain Verneth just shouts over the wall, says, "Oi, open up!" There's a little bit of a pause. And then you hear the familiar grinding open of the doors. The stone doors open out towards you. And there you see the two different guards, but two town guard that are standing who press the sigils to open the doors and let you back into the town. And Captain Verneth walks in. Follow, and the doors close behind you. And you are back in the populated part of the city of Orin.
Did you say the sigils lit up after Captain Verneth called to the guards?
No. The sigils on the
off?
outside, they stayed off, yes.
Okay.
Captain.
Oh.
When the city expands to this new section, how will people on this side open the door?
Not right sure. To be honest, I'm not right sure how they function right now.
Question? One of the many mysteries of the city?
Right. Seems to be a little above my pay grade.
Sigils?
The sigils that open the doors.
Right, but you said sigil. Sigil, is that like a marking of some type, or what's a
yeah,
sigil?
it's like a carving or like a runic symbol placed on, like carved into this wood or not wood, stone.
It's not the same design as what we saw on the compass and the bell, right?
No.
Okay.
No, this is a much more like geometric shape.
Two giant D's.
Two giant D's.
I'd be like, okay, hang on.
We're seeing them everywhere. I look at my crossbow. Does it have a D on it?
Felix built this building.
Yep, it's a silent D at the beginning of his name.
De Felix.
De Felix.
De Fontaine.
He's Creo. We're on our way to the Magister, right?
Yeah.
Magistrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
guys, once you head that like first mile-long block northward, the captain, he says that he's not going to go with you to. Actually, he would have to go with you. Never mind. He'll walk the entirety of the way with you. You can see that he is tired and he's definitely still hurting a little bit from his wounds the day before.
Got a full body piercing.
Right. But he is still willing to go with you.
Just sounds terrible.
You make your way through town. I'm assuming you just want to make your way straight to the magistrate.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay. When you make your way there, takes about another 2 hours or so to walk your way through the town. When you get there, you can actually see that there is a small line of people waiting in at the bottom of the stairs, like down in the courtyard, waiting to see him.
Is there a guard or anybody like at the line as well, or is it just kind of what seemed to be townsfolk?
It's just what looked to be townsfolk. But you notice that all these people have collars on.
Oh.
Or have necklaces on, sorry. They're not collars.
Gotta use the propaganda word.
Freedom necklaces.
Freedom necklaces.
Freedom necklaces.
Approximately, from what we can see, how many people would be in line? Like, is it just a few people, or are we talking like dozens?
No, it's just a few people. There's like 6 people in front of you.
Oh, okay. So not a huge long line.
Right.
Council turns to the captain as they're approaching the line. Others seeking to remove their collars, I suppose?
Remember the gold necklaces? We just talked about this.
We did.
But looks like it. Traffic to the city has certainly picked up in the last couple days. I'm assuming that has something to do with you called her Lady Margaret and the events happening on the Isles. Certainly more people arrive in the city. So assuming they have come to work out something with the Magister. Normally it doesn't take too long.
I can see how her xenophobia would increase the population of the place. We'll stand in line.
Yeah. Okay. We should get in line.
Not happily, but I'll stand in line.
Everybody make me a perception check.
Ooh. I rolled really well for the first time tonight.
Boy, howdy.
17.
15.
Oh.
6.
17 plus 4, 21.
11.
All right. Then, Council, you would probably overhear the other people in line, because after you get in line, actually more people come behind you as well. You overhear them talking, and they make mention of additional assassination attempts that have been made on the Isles. One even on Lady Margaret herself.
Good.
And so there has been kind of a mass exodus. There are certainly still some people on the Isles. Like it's not everybody has left, but a large chunk of people have left and have made their way to other parts of the world. One of which is here.
Are those people like right behind me, a couple spaces?
You overhear it from the people directly in front of you.
Council taps one of them on the shoulder.
He kind of a middle-aged man, balding a little bit, turns and just looks at you and immediately, again, taken back by not only your visage, but also then your large tree friend and this moving or walking piece of armor next to you.
Council kind of lowers his head, nods kind of have an air of non-threateningness. I beg pardon, stranger.
Yes. Hello?
You mentioned an exodus of sorts from the Isles due to assassination attempts.
Yes, this is correct.
Is that something that you did willingly, or are the leaders sending these people away?
Do you mean me specifically, or
From what you know.
Both. There are some who leave because of fear. There are some who leave because of mandate. There are some who leave for other reasons. I'm not sure.
Do you know if these attempts were on the, how do you people say, the regular citizenry, as opposed to your leaders?
Only leaders.
Interesting.
Only leaders, yes.
Council mumbles something in a different language, but then nods to the men. I appreciate your time. My pardon for bothering you.
You're welcome.
Goes back to standing.
Shortly after you finish your conversation, him and the two other people that were with him go in to see the Magister. They're in there.
We don't hear popping noises, do we?
No. They're only in there for a number of minutes, and then they come out, and you are invited up, and Captain Verneth walks up with you into the High Magister's office, which you don't see Danny there today. It's just the High Magister.
Okay.
And by the time, even though it is still fairly early in the morning, you can tell just from his countenance that he is tired. That there are certainly things that are weighing him down at this point. And when you walk in, he first sees Captain Verneth, and then he sees you following behind him. And he says, "Oh, it's so nice to see a friendly face or two this morning."
Trouble?
Not trouble, just bureaucracy, just business. Governance. It's tiring work.
Understandable.
I take it things went well. Captain Verneth nods and says, "You're right, it did. These blokes saved my life out there. Fired off a couple of none. Built the wall a little bit. Made good progress. I'd say they've earned their keep here." And then the Magister says, "Well, that's quite a relief. We're already running out of necklaces, so I'll take those off you right away." And he walks back to an urn in the back of his chamber, and he pulls out a number of stones. At which point he walks up next to each of your necklaces, and you can see that he has these clear stones, and he holds them up next to your necklaces. And as the necklaces fall off of you, you can see that the alchemite that was on your necklace is now that charcoal gray color, and the stone in his hand is now a red color.
So he transferred the infusion from one alchemite to the other.
Yes.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, that's what you can guess. And he makes his way to each of you and says, again, thank you so much. I know that you weren't in favor of this. Neither am I entirely, to be clear. But I consider it a necessary evil at this point. And I hope that you forgive me at some point. I understand if you have hard feelings for the time.
A time will come when it is stable, not necessary. An understandable decision.
Not having a collar on my neck, it felt a small price to pay for your people saving my life.
Oh, right. I forgot you had a mating with the Kraken God. Yeah. They are quite good people.
Magister. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please.
My companions and I have made some interesting discoveries and have many questions, but it appears that you have had a busy morning.
Really?
Would you prefer to discuss any of our questions and such at a later date?
It's in regards to the temple.
No, I'd rather we discuss them now. If anything, those people could wait. I could use a break. And he goes and physically grabs a chair and sets it next to the table that he's normally standing next to, and he sits down in it.
Council turns to Captain Verneth. Thank you for your company. It was nice to have someone who knew the area.
Oh, no problem, mate. I'm going to go home now and spend a day or two in bed, I think. I assume that you're all squared up here. I'll take my leave.
Aye, rest well.
And Captain Verneth takes time to try to shake each of your hands, whether you or not you shake it. He tries to shake your hands, and then he leaves.
Am I familiar with handshaking?
Yes, only because they have done it in this chamber before, and you have seen it.
Okay.
Done in other parts of the world.
I put on my human face and do it. Yes, hello, nice to see you.
Hello, fellow human.
Is Council's mask a mask in the sense of and I'm oversimplifying, but like a Halloween mask where you can see flesh on the sides and behind him, or is it more of a helmet?
It's a
can we see his ears and the sides of his face?
He has a hood, doesn't he?
He has a hood.
You have not seen any of his skin on any part of his body.
Oh, any piece of skin, anywhere.
You wear long sleeves, gloves, pants, tall boots, and armor. And
have we seen him eat or drink?
Nope.
He's like that race from Mass Effect.
Cylon.
He
Does
has.
he ever say bleep, bloop, bleep? Bleep, bloop, blop?
He has rations and stuff on him, but you guys have never seen him eat. You could probably guess he does it while you're sleeping. But yeah.
Okay, so his rations have gone down.
Yeah.
He appears to consume, just not in front of us intentionally.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's not.
You're making me think he's undead or something. Wait a minute.
This is the way.
To be fair, you've never seen Wander eat or drink anything either, so.
Council's
How
never
about
seen
the
a
sun?
tree eat or drink, so I think this is normal.
You drink in the sun every day, don't you?
Oh, we, saw you
that's
stand,
true.
we saw you stand on that table.
Wait, does Wander
Yeah.
do yoga every morning to feed himself? He's out in the sun, just.
Strikes
Yeah.
warrior pose. Stand there.
Like downward dog.
Some Tai Chi moves too.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Tizal would probably chirp up before we begin and say, "There is a matter of the payment for the services rendered by this traveling group."
You're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. He stands
So much.
back up, kind of labored out of his chair. And he goes back to a trunk that he has near the back of the room, and he opens it up. And he moves a couple things aside. You can see that he digs down to the bottom of this trunk, and he pulls something out, kind of wrapped in paper. And he unwraps the paper and he walks over to you. And he unfolds it and presents what to you looks like a piece of red alchemite that is stuck on the end of a stick, very crudely.
But
He says-
this
Says, this is your payment. I did the wrong accent there for a second. Let me remember how he talks.
Vaguely Irish?
This is your payment. This was an item that was procured by the guards a while ago, and it is the most rare and potentially valuable item that I possess.
It's red, did you say?
Yes.
Is this different from the red alchemite we used at the wall? It had made an explosion of sorts.
I'm not entirely certain. It does seem to have some interaction with flame, but I'm not sure if it explodes in the way that you're saying.
Archmagister, I was under the impression that gold or coin would be our payment. Did us taking one of your most prized possessions seems irregular?
You also earned your freedom.
Sure.
That's certainly true. The idea of coal or of gold does not yet exist here in Oran. It's certainly something that the Huon deal with back in the Isles, but it's not something that a tradition that we've carried here. It seems to just make things messy. So generally we work in form of labor for one another, doing service, and occasionally exchanging property such as this.
What in particular makes this so valuable?
What makes this so valuable is really taking it off my hands. It is both valuable to you and to me.
Felix picks it up.
Okay.
And looks at it.
You said it was... Oh, go ahead.
Now, what does this little trinket do now?
It has the ability to control fire to an extent. And to emit fire to an extent.
Hey, Felix, can I see that?
Interesting. So alchemite can have the same element, but different behavior.
It certainly appears so if it's tampered with in such a way. I imagine, and he kind of like pokes at the blue alchemite in Felix's suit. Says, I imagine that that's not going to be running out of a charge anytime now. Based on how
That's right.
Felix has hooked it up to his suit.
Yeah?
Fascinating.
Well, this will certainly prove useful, I bet. In the right hands.
Yes.
He glances over to Tizal.
You mean in the right feathers.
I must stress that it is very powerful and potentially dangerous. So if it is given to you, which is my intent, I would ask you to keep it safe. And to keep it from falling into the wrong hands.
I fell asleep during watch last night, so I shouldn't hold it.
I'd certainly feel safe with a walking suit of armor keeping watch over it.
I'll hang on to it and study it, but if anyone wishes to use it, just let me know.
I'm not comfortable using a magical item in which I do not know what it does. So perhaps once you have some answers...
I'll know soon.
So, Magister, do you know much of the temples outside of town?
I'm aware of the temple over in the other district and the temple at the center of this district. Aye.
And the bells in the bell towers. Have you any knowledge of them? Or where they may have come from? By which I mean, who may have crafted them, the bells or the buildings themselves?
I'm not exactly sure who crafted them, but I know that they're very old. I imagine that they're as old as this town itself, which is very, very old.
So perhaps the books will tell us more.
I've read all of the books here that have come into my care, minus the last couple dozen that have arrived in the last few days. And I have not seen any mention of this city before.
Oh.
It seems to almost be a city lost to time.
So perhaps the Dwarven could have answers.
They certainly are the best record keepers.
Have you ever
Speaking
rung
of-
the bell in this town?
No.
Never once?
No.
Have you no natural curiosity?
Right.
I know when to not tamper with things that I don't know what they do. I've had run-ins with power beyond my control before, and I would rather not run into those things again.
Understood.
Revan gives an audible kind of when he says power is beyond his control. Like knowingly.
That makes sense. Another quick question about the temple. There's a locked door in the temple over in the other area.
Oh, there's a matching one in this temple.
Have you ever managed to get either of the doors open?
No.
Yeah.
No
They're
amount
just
of
wooden
magic.
doors, though, right? You've never attempted to go through them.
We have tried to open the doors by force, and they don't budge.
Oh.
They don't seem to be magical, but they do seem to be well built.
I wonder if those tunnels are connected.
Yes.
That would be terribly interesting.
Did you say there's a tunnel down there?
Yes, I adventured just a little bit down. It turns out there's several staircases zigzagging down for quite a ways. It gets very, very cold, and then it opens up onto a very long passageway, but I wasn't able to stay down there long enough to fully explore where they went.
Fascinating. Do you know which direction the tunnel ran in?
Do I?
Make me
You said-
a wisdom check. Or actually, make me a nature check.
No one sloped it down.
There we go.
I don't know the direction.
I was looking through the keyhole. Can you get advantage?
That's 17.
17?
Mm-hmm.
The tunnel seemed to head parallel with the roads that head towards the center of this city.
I share as much.
So it is sloped downwards towards the center of the city and sloped upwards toward the outward of the city.
Ah.
That
I
is
wonder.
curious.
I wonder if we can find one of the ends on the outside of the city, or near the wall somewhere.
There are locked doors in the towers at the edge of town as well. It's possible that they all could be connected.
I'm curious if anything lies between. That is quite some distance for a single tunnel.
It is.
Indeed.
I
I'm
got the
curious.
thing called.
I could probably get, if I had enough preparation, I could probably make it quite a ways down the tunnel.
And Magister, these appear to be wooden doors. Would you be okay if we made our way through one of the doors by force? I feel we may have the means to, if we were to explore.
I don't think that you've been listening to me very well. I said that we've tried to make it through the door by force.
Right, but they're not magical, and they appear to be made of wood. I have found in my travels that wood can be cut through with enough time.
You're certainly free to try.
You've never taken an axe to this door?
We have taken many an instrument to it in attempts to break it down, and it has never budged.
Tizal covers Wander's ears.
They have
no offense.
Wander appreciates it.
They have keyholes. Is there anywhere that hasn't?
I can tell how far behind the stream is when Crystal laughs.
Have you tried not weapon strikes but magical means?
Oh, of course I have. I absolutely have. It doesn't seem to want to open.
And I fancy myself pretty proficient at picking locks, and this one seemed quite formidable.
Yeah, I have. Do I have any extra paper for my cartographer tools? Or is there like a piece of parchment lying around that the Magister would let me use?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to draw vaguely the bits of the city that we've seen, kind of similar to your map. Maybe not as detailed, just the general circular shape of the district.
Sure.
And then mark the temples, and then do what Council did to the sand with the group to kind of finish the circle and make the parallel districts, and show it to the Magister. If one temple has dwarven statues and another temple has elm statues, to me, the way this is laid out as far as the city goes, it makes sense that this may have been a complete circle at some time. What are your thoughts?
I certainly don't think that you're too far off there, and I've had the same thought myself. I don't think it's outside of the realm of reason to believe that it's still a complete circle. You just have to go out far enough.
What do you mean?
Into the ocean.
I thought you were talking like drifting continents or islands or something like.
No, the city's very large, and as you know, land slopes downward into the ocean. So the city eventually falls beneath the ocean line and continues to descend beneath the waves. And we can never get out there because those blasted none.
It makes me wonder what they've discovered.
I'm not sure.
I have some questions about alchemite, unless someone else has questions about these doors.
I have one question. Felix, could you draw the symbol we found on Bell?
Oh, right.
I could do one better and tell Captain Revan to produce his compass.
Yes,
Revan just pulls out his compass and shows the symbol to the Magister.
This symbol was on Bell in temple and on compass. Captain
As soon
Revan
as
found on these first.
you're talking, but the Magister, as soon as Revan pulls out the compass, he's completely enamored by the compass. And he
like
says...
visibly?
Yes. And he like asks if he can take it from you. He says, "Now, where did you find this?"
It was in my coat when I awoke in the temple after the Kraken guard saved me. I'm not sure where it came from. I'd never seen it before that day. Does it mean something to you?
I've seen this compass before.
Whoa.
Is that so? Where have you seen it?
Another man came through town and had it on him. And he takes it for a moment. And he does some fiddling with it. You can see he kind of closes his eyes and mumbles something under his breath. And he hands it back to you. And he says,
Take it back.
"It should function properly now."
What?
I had to do the same thing for him.
What?
was his name?
Looking down at it, does it seem to be functioning? Like pointing north? Or pointing in a direction?
Yes.
What? So what was it that you did? How did you get it working?
Well, I had to do it for him. It has a sort of latent magical energy that when it is unbound from the person who is holding it, it becomes inert. So if you found it, I fear that the prior holder of this may have died. Or may have lost it.
Aye.
Who was this man?
Do you know his name?
What was his name?
Does it rhyme with barley?
It says no. It rhymes with barrels.
No.
I believe his name was Charles. He arrived with this compass. Said it was given to him.
But did he say by who? Or who gave it to him?
He said it was given to him by the sea.
Aye.
The whole time this conversation is happening, Council is watching Revan. Just to see if he picks up any body language or facial indications of someone saying anything that makes Revan react in a way that would indicate he knows more. Because Council already... It's very obvious that Revan is withholding information. But, anyway, yeah, that's what he's doing.
And do you know where this Charles came from? Did he tell you?
I have an idea.
I am kind of connecting the dots here. I do think that this was your friend Charlie.
Yes.
And he describes what Charlie looked like to you. And asks if that is the same Charlie that you know. And it is.
Can I pull out my water skin?
Yeah.
Does it have any markings?
Make me a perception or an investigation check.
I'm sorry for your loss, Tizzle.
14. Thank you, Council.
It doesn't have any markings on it that you can see. At least that are like hidden in the same way that the prior one was. This, however, does have a on the cork of the water skin. It does have a crudely carved letter on it, which when you show it to anyone else it's a C.
A C.
Do you recognize this symbol, Archmagister?
That's it's a letter C.
Am I supposed to know what that means?
It's part of an alphabet. Charlie. Charlie starts with a C. All words are made up of letters. All sounds are represented by words. Words are made up of letters. This is a letter. It's a C.
Wait, what's the T on?
So my guess would be whoever previously owned this.
What was
Name started with a C.
Hold on, could you say it 3 more times a little slower?
I think that this belonged to somebody whose name started with a C.
And Charles starts with a C.
What is the C on? I missed that.
The water
It's
skin.
on the cork of the water skin.
Oh.
C also in cork.
Tizol's intelligence goes from 3 to 4.
Yeah, how did you connect that? That's a totally different sound. Charlie, Chork.
Chork.
Magister,
Right?
do you remember what job this Charles took to remove his necklace?
He had done a similar job to you all. He'd gone down, helped with the wall for a day, and had come back. After that, he took off to sea, I believe.
Ah,
Do you know who he left with or what ship he was aboard?
No, I know that he left town.
Go ahead.
Looking at the compass, does it seem to be pointing north or in a different direction? I assume I would have a general understanding of where north is, being a captain.
Currently, it is pointing at you.
oh. Are
So
there
if I
north,
kind of-
south, east, west indicators on the compass?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
If I kind of like move it around, does it continue to just point towards me? Like it's
Yes.
attracted to me?
Yes.
Ah,
Interesting. I
go ahead.
share that with the group that this seems to be pointing at me as opposed to north, assuming there's a magnetic north in this land, but
There is, yeah.
okay. And instead of to the north, it seems to want to point only to me. Do you know why that might be, Magister?
I'm not exactly sure. Charles did say something about it pointing towards whatever the attuned individual was most desiring at that point in time.
Oh.
Heh.
You say it must have lost its connection to Charles. Yes?
That seems to be the truth. And when he lost connection to it, it became inert again.
Why would it have shown up in Captain Revan's pocket?
I believe that only Captain Ribbon would be able to answer that. Captain?
Wait. How did Charlie say he got it?
It was given to him?
He said it was given to him by the sea.
I may have an idea, but I feel I need to think on this for a bit. Clear my head.
Can I make an insight check to know if he's lying?
No, he's well, never mind.
Can I tell if he's lying or withholding information?
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Is there danger in you sharing this information, Revan? Is that the cause of your hesitance?
11.
I worry
Not
that
sure.
I worry of my companions more than myself in this moment, and perhaps if we were to gather back at the inn tonight over an ale and some food, I can tell you a tale.
Are you worried about me?
Not worried about you, but I think I need to take a moment to think through what is transpiring in these times, and well, I've just met you, haven't I?
That's fair. I didn't trust you when I first met you. It's fair to
Aye.
not trust me.
We should discuss further.
Feel free.
Council, I believe you had questions about
Yes.
Alchemite.
To be clear, we have permission to attempt to open one of these locked doors in the temple, correct? Without
yes.
causing harm to others, of course.
Yeah. Yes, I'd prefer if you didn't harm the buildings themselves, just for their strict value as historical artifacts, that we could certainly unlock the knowledge held within, but other than that, it's fine for you to try.
No one woke up with a key in their pocket, did they?
We didn't check.
He gives a smile to the group.
I'm wondering if the administrative part of the city was somewhere in the center, which has been lost to sea. But that's just musing. I have a question about Alchemite. We saw Captain Verneth use a green piece of Alchemite to heal his wounds.
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, thanks to some insight from Felix here, Alchemite is mined or gathered without infusion. It is then
That's
infused and then becomes inert.
Aye, that's correct.
Where does the green energy come from?
We haven't been able to figure it out.
So you find it like this.
Aye. Sometimes the mined alchemite, which we have gathered, one moment it'll be clear as day, and then the next it'll turn green. And we can't figure out why.
Odd. And no one has discovered a way to reuse alchemite once it has been spent.
Not that I'm aware of. The Dwarven are certainly creative, but I'm certain if anyone would have found a way, it would have been your companion here.
He kind of looks at Felix. I don't doubt that.
Could still happen.
That piece of alchemite that you used to take the power imbued in the necklaces and their chunks of alchemite.
Right.
Would that have the same effect on the piece inside of me?
If someone were to hold a clear piece of alchemite up to your chest, would it take the purple?
Aye.
I think if it were held in close proximity, it could.
Let's
Go grab one. Let's see.
Good to know. I'll be sure to keep my distance from any clear alchemite.
Revan's pacemaker's got a bit of a vulnerability.
And I'll also be needed a clean pair of pants when you have a moment.
To the alchemite mine.
I do think there's some solace to the revelation that you've just stumbled upon, which is that I don't believe that the alchemite would explode. So your friends would be safe, but I do think that your life would expire.
Aye.
That's
That would
small
seem to
comfort.
make sense. What was that?
A small comfort, says Council.
Yeah. Well, It's certainly good. Knowledge is certainly power, so I appreciate the additional knowledge.
Well, thank you. You've given me much knowledge in this sharing session. It's
Aye,
only
good.
fair that I share some as well.
It was mentioned that Smith had decided to set up in town. I believe, what was her name? She sailed with us. Joan?
Joan.
Aye, Joan, I believe her name was.
Yes.
She's in the center of town somewhere?
I imagined that she set up shop somewhere near the center of town. I didn't exactly find out where.
You said... I suppose I'll ask her. Never mind. Since there's no coin, it's something I'm more familiar with. May have to pay her a visit. That was my primary question about alchemite. Thank you. If you don't know where this energy comes from, then...
I'm sorry, I do not.
It seems to be a mysterious substance. The more we investigate, the more things point to the dawn. If we were to aid you in enabling the security beacon to protect the city, you have already given us your prized possession. I imagine just protecting the city wouldn't suffice for some of my companions. Would something else be offered in return for this?
Well, I did just unlock the latent ability held within the compass. If you'd like to view it in that light. Otherwise, certainly I could try and find some way to repay you.
I do not seek such, but kind of glances at Tizol. It's up to them.
I do think if you're looking for extra adventures to go on, that going northward first would be a better course of action.
To the outcast?
To
Yes,
Noren.
Yes, to New Oren. My mind has been troubled of them of late, and I like to know what they're up to exactly. And I fear that the specifically around the beacon are growing in number each day.
Do you have reason to believe Noren could be involved with more people showing up in Oren?
No, I don't believe that they have anything to do with more folks showing up in Oren. But if people are coming here, I'm certain that some people are finding their way there as well.
Would Council have shared what he overheard with the group or no?
Oh yeah, for sure. He was speaking at normal volume with everyone else behind him, so I imagine they heard it.
Okay. I was phrasing my question in such a way that I didn't hear that, but I would rephrase to, do we believe Noren had anything to do with the assassination attempts?
I don't believe so. I do know that the man in charge of New Oren has some talent for fire, but I don't believe that he would be the assassinating type.
Jason, was it?
Yes. Jason's his name.
We will have to pay him a visit.
So the Dorn and Noren seem to be the next steps for us. Is that
how we handle the Dwarven is up to Felix, since he has the most volatile relationship with them. But we do not have to decide it now.
We'll head to New Orleans first.
Yes.
Magister, have you tried holding one of these fresh pieces of alchemite to these temple doors?
To the locked temple doors, you're saying?
Correct. It is a slim chance of working since it has a specific keyhole, but you never know.
I haven't. I'm not sure if anyone else has, but I certainly haven't.
You have any to spare for us to experiment with?
Oh, certainly. He stands back up again from his chair, goes back to the urn, and he gives you a handful of these just like raw alchemite. And before he drops it in your hand, he says, consider it a prepayment for going and visiting New Orin.
Fair to me.
What time of day is it approximately?
It is early morning. Well, it's about 10 a.m. probably at this point, 9 or 10. Assuming you woke up 6 or 7, walked for an hour or two, took some time to get through town. Yeah, probably about 10 a.m.
Do you want to be specific about the raw alchemite? I'm putting it on my sheet. Say should I just say a handful of pieces?
Say that you got 5.
5.
Yep.
Should we take our leave?
I have nothing else to ask if no one else does.
I know that I've certainly got people to talk to.
Thank you, Magister, for all we've done.
Yes, thank you.
I won't lie. At the start of this conversation, I didn't think that you'd be ending by saying thank you. Besides for taking off the security measures. Thank you for understanding.
I appreciate your time more than anything else.
He walks you to the door.
Yeah, I leave.
Okay.
As we walk away a little bit, I turn to the group and say, before we go exploring at any of these doors, do we want to stop for some food and a drink now?
I was hoping to visit the smith, but I plan to eat sometime today, yes?
Aye.
Does not matter to me. I would like to know why you have been so secretive, but I do understand everyone has their history to protect.
Our group is certainly no strangers to secrets. He nods towards console.
I'm an open book, bro. I don't know what you mean.
I mean, nods towards console when he says that.
I have answered every question asked me.
What's under the mask?
Right. Didn't
my face.
Good answer.
Got him. Got him.
It's true. Council has answered truthfully. He doesn't lie.
Yeah.
So you're saying you have a face?
No, it's just a big open mouth with rows of teeth leading. It's the void within.
Yep. It's just a black hole under the mask.
Oh no. I fear the nightmares.
Takes it out. There's just like.
I'm Revan's sponsor.
Well, you know.
Sponsor?
It's patron, yeah.
Okay.
He's your patron.
He's not an AA.
Is he recovering addict? Either way, I don't care. We could either RP that conversation or head to the temple to just start checking some stuff out.
Well, I wanted to go to the smith first, but
yeah, sure.
if that's Also, it is almost 9, and I have.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't think we have 6 minutes to RP that. So.
Hey, Joan, you make crossbows?
Yeah, just to throw it out there, Wander's happy to go along and join other people and other things, but at some point he does want to go way down the tunnel.
Right.
Oh.
So
yeah.
So
we should try and get that door open.
What are the walls made out of in the temple?
The inside of the walls, or or just like
Both.
So the outside, what you could see within that the Elm Temple was the same sandstone that the rest of the city is made out of. The inside, however, all of like the columns and everything were made out of more of like a marble.
Okay.
Tizal wants to go explore the bell in the tower in town.
We should
That's all
get
he
some
cares about.
alchemite mallets. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
I can't turn into a fox yet. I think that's next level.
Oh no. What does the wander say?
What does the wonder say?
As you guys are making your way to your next destination, after you, Captain Revan, have had a chance, have had sufficient time with the compass, you become attuned to it. And the rest of you watch Captain Revan just drop where he is.
Again?
Again.
And Captain Revan, you have a vision.
Ooh.
In that vision, you see there's a large slab of a table, and there are 6 figures that are standing around it. One of each of the races. So there's a female elm. There's a hewn male. There is a small tortoise, feral torn, with a tree that is growing off of his shell. There is a larger than average Dwarn male standing to the right of the elm female. And there is, thinking of who I'm forgetting.
The non?
Oh, there is a female non as well, and there is an Iran. The Iran has the compass in his hand. You can see that he has hands, that he is brightly blue colored, and that he has 2 massive wings, which are currently furled behind him. And he has hands, and he walks up and he slams the compass down on the table. And he says, "You don't think that I can do it? You don't think I could perform this challenge? I will do it. I will do it, and I'll show you all." He leaves, and the compass stays there in the center of the table. And the vision ends.
Was vision? Is that correct?
What?
What I wasn't in that
You were
vision.
not in that vision.
It was
No.
all the people. I was not. Okay. Interesting.
And that's where we will end.
I have so many questions.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Iran with hands? Come on now.
So were we in the middle of the street when Revan collapsed?
Yes. You were walking on your way to your next destination.
Crystal.
Crystal knows some of this campaign. She doesn't know all of it.